I didn't want to push the intro yet because I wanted to return my Amazon package. So I hit live and now we're live, yet I'm still going to return my Amazon order. So give me 1 second, everybody.
Tell me what kind of Amazon order you got in there, bud.
I have to return
the Blackbeard case that you bought last week.
No,
right?
No.
We're
not doing intros right now because for some reason the music on the intro, they're flagging me.
What?
They're flagging me for copyrighted material on the Edmund Fitzgerald.
For real? No way.
So,
dude, that's disappointing, man.
Yeah, not the right style I am looking for. Okay.
Oh, so we're actually going through your Amazon return right now.
Dude, it's going to take 1 second.
That was 10 minutes ago. You told me 1 second, 10 minutes ago. First of all, guys, here's what happened behind the scenes, in case you didn't see it, because you didn't. Ran out of tape. Then he said he broke the tape roll. And then he said, how do you work this tape roll? And I said, do you struggle as an adult human being? You're an adult man. He asked me literally, how do you load the tape into the tape roll? You figure after how many thousands of packages have you sent out? Auction after auction. You're fine. You'll be fine. There was a moment where Travis and I were kind of hanging out together and fishing. And he would say this all the time. Do you struggle as an adult human being?
I say, do you struggle with life?
You're a grown man. And then he went through a period of he was struggling. Remember that, Travis? A couple things.
When I was struggling?
Oh, my gosh. And you were laughing at yourself, man, because I started using that reverse psychology back on you. And I caught you like 4 times one week, man. You were struggling. You were struggling with life. Do you struggle with life? That was coming out of your mouth way too much there for about a year, but it was funny.
Yeah.
And then the tables got turned, man. And you were just like, wow, yeah, I guess I do struggle. You had some boat issues, backing up issues. Remember at that ramp that one day?
I've had a lot of boat issues backing up lately. Not always.
What? What's going on, dude?
I think I do it so much, I take it for granted.
Nah, nice, man. Nice.
I need an audience. If I don't have an audience, I suck backing up a boat. I'll forget to unhook something. I'll not take the strap off.
Right.
But when I'm under pressure,
you're good.
I'm quick.
The best. The best. All right, man. Let's do a roll call, man. Who's in the house that's new tonight? We got man, a lot of the usual suspects.
A lot of usuals.
Darius King, Burn.
Hey, here's
Brian, Sean. Sean.
Since we got somebody in the chat that I wanted to reach out to, but just haven't had time.
Who's that?
I'd like to see if Jody would like to make an appearance maybe the next week or two back on our show to talk about, I think this is his 25th career win with the ABAs last week.
I mean, I've been talking about Jody White for the last 6 months, and you've been dragging your feet. So I'm just going to take over. Jody, I know you're watching. Privately, I've been talking to Travis about fantastic guests. You're one of them for the last 6 months, and he just struggles with Amazon returns. And so that's what's going on in his life. You see, I mean, I'm just taking over, dude. Hey, but you did get a show guest tonight. I got to tip my hat to you, man. So good.
We do have a show guest. I do want to give a shout out. This week's show is sponsored by Thayer's Marine. Of course, that's where I get all my boats. And that's where I encourage you to get your boats too. And service.
Is that where you returned your burn-up boat?
I think. Oh, we need to do an episode about that, and we need to get Ken. We need to get Ken on, my new insurance agent. I'm just waiting for one final piece of the puzzle to get put in place, and we're going to have a very good show about my experience, what to do, what not to do, what to look for. It's going to be it's actually one of the episodes I'm probably definitely looking forward to.
Me too. I can't wait for it. All right, man. There you go.
So where was I going with this? Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
I'm still waiting to get my boat trailer back.
For
my old boat.
What boat are you guiding out of now?
I have a new boat, bud.
Oh, so your old boat trailer that you bought,
I have a new
right?
boat that I was trying to keep new, and we're gonna have to take it over to Thayer's at the end of the season to get a little repair work done to it.
What happened already?
Um, do, 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 do.
Like you got gel coat work to do, or do you got
Little
what do you
bit,
got?
little bit of gel coat work.
And that's unusual for you because you know, you used to stay at least 75 yards away from the bank
I
because you didn't want
still
to
do.
scratch the
Accidents happen.
trolling motor.
Fish
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day.
I know, dude. It happens. Well, the Great Lakes is not built for a bass boat.
No, it actually. I'm gonna tell you.
Bass boats aren't.
The Great Lakes are a lot more lenient on the bass boat than the Chesapeake Bay was when it comes to scratches, nicks, things like that, rub rail burns.
I'll give you that much. But
Yeah.
about the haul.
I had no haul issues. I got a little couple scratches here and there that need to get fixed. That's all.
Okay, bud. Well, it's got a place to go. Shout out to Thayer's Marine because they will get it bright and shiny new for the next year, right? 2025. You can't go wrong. So, hey, Travis, what's new with the Bass Lab?
Oh, we're gonna get to that right now. Let's go.
What else you got going? You just finished your Amazon return. I feel you get the show going, right? Is there
I want to
anything you
take
wanted
my
to do
time.
for it? Well, you take your time. Let it marinate a little bit, bro. What else you got for us?
I'm just reading the comments. Greetings,
All
Ken.
right. Well,
From
listen.
Eastat. Tom.
Yep.
Hold on.
We already did that.
Oh.
Thanks for catching up while you were doing your Amazon. I did the roll call earlier, but you can do your own roll call. Go
Devin
ahead.
in the house. Devin and I
Yep,
got a
Vince.
confrontation on the lake.
Oh,
No, I'm joking.
Maybe we should have an episode. Hey, Vince Torpe. Good to see you, Vince.
We didn't get in a confrontation. I was totally joking. I didn't even know it was him. And second of all, I didn't care. Because we were going to go that spot first, and Tom wanted to go shallow first. So I don't care.
We're still on that. Did we do that last week? But go ahead, man. It sounds like you're a little sore about your results.
No.
You'll win one day. You just keep
very
having
good week
fun.
out there on the lake.
All right.
Saw some really interesting things go down.
Are you still marinating on the shallow pattern? Still working for you? Well, that 0 to 20 foot, and you said you found some magic there. It was producing results for you. Are more fish coming? Is it still working? Have you gone back out deep? What's the story?
Well, they're still mixed around everywhere.
Well, I mean, that's the general thing. But what about you? Were you still focused on that shallow 0 to 20?
I had a guide trip today. It was the worst trip of the season.
Yep.
After 8 days of unbelievable fishing.
I mean, can you complain?
So something happened. Something happened today. I can tell you we had a wind change from the last 8 days. We had current backed up. And, 15 to 20 degree cooler temps.
Those are 3 tough things, right?
I'm honestly asking, do you really think those 3 things had something to do with it? Current. Or I just suck.
Well, current, from what I understand, I'm not a smallmouth expert, but from a tidal river perspective, if I have water backing in instead of going out, it can make it extremely tough.
Yeah.
It will shut down the bite.
We had decent. I shouldn't say.
Okay. Go ahead. Be more
first of all, the weatherman said 10 to 15, which figured 20. So I didn't want to go to the lake. I stayed in the river. And I kind of have a rule where I don't like messing with the river if it's an east wind. But I had a little more confidence this year in the river and fishing in the east wind that I thought we could make it happen. But some of our drifts got a little iffy. I could tell the baits just weren't drifting properly.
Yeah.
I tried a lot of different things to combat that. And it was just a tougher day,
All right, fair, man. I mean, if you've got a big weather change, if you've got a little, current change with an east wind, isn't that what they say? East, they bite least.
I guess.
I mean, that's what I've heard before. So you confronted the tough east wind, and it got.
By the way, my beard was looking ghost white before the show and a simple application of Blackbeard, and look at that. I look like
So tonight,
Field, as JP would say.
So tonight you wanted to look special for the guests.
Yes, I'm excited. We have a
right?
great guest tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to introduce you guys to him shortly. We're just trying to stall here until he jumps on. He won't be on for another a few more minutes. But Eric, I'd like to know what's new at the Bass Lab, if I may. I've been dying. Like, I've been out on the boat trying to put guys on fish, and all I can think about is, I wonder what's new at the Bass Lab. So,
man, I appreciate you asking.
Tell me, is it a new sticker? Is it a new logo? What could it be? A new crankbait color, or maybe a sneaky little tidal water spinner bait?
No, it's none of those things. Those are it's already been done, man. We're on to new things.
The ever-stopping gobstopper.
On to new things, bro. We're fishing saltwater flies in St. Lawrence country now, man. We're just doing new things. We're gonna do all these things together.
A brand new birch carved balsa birch square bill made by your buddy
Big M. None of those things. You're striking out tonight, but that's all right. It's like an east winds coming through your studio, man. You can't get your drift right, man. But I get your drift. So here's what's happening at the Bass Lab, man. Thank you for asking. There's a Hall of Fame auction coming up, and I donated some Bass Lab Balsa Legends crankbaits. A lot of legendary makers. Most of them are late and great, meaning they've passed on to that great lake in the sky or river, and they're no longer carving. So go on over and check out the Bass Fishing Hall of Fame live auction. You can bid until the 26th. There's a live auction at the event. You don't have to be there to bid, obviously, but there's some really cool stuff, man. So, like, there are trips that you can take with prominent pros on their body of water. You could even host a BTL live with Matt Pangrate and Mark Jeffries, man. How about that? You go behind the scenes at Jeffries College, where he coaches bowling, the bowling team, and then you can pick a crappie or a bass trip, man. There's some Juices jigs over there. What's that now? Are you still doing your Amazon stuff?
I got to write a check out, but I'm just paying some bills. Keep going.
You're just, yeah. This is where it just starts to grate on me, man. You're actually not engaged. You're doing your to-do list as I'm talking.
No, I'm taking notes to make sure I bid on the epic bass box at the.
You couldn't care less.
No, I do care, but I'm bidding. Are you kidding me?
You're not bidding for any of that stuff.
I swear to God, I'm putting a bid in. Actually,
put a bid in.
Actually, we're going to do it live on the air next week.
You're gonna put. You can't. It'll be over. Nice try.
Actually, we're doing it tonight. Everybody's doing it tonight, live on the air. Keep going. Tell me.
All right, man. No, that's it. You're back on, host. What do you got? We'll just suffer through the dead air while Travis does his
159 and 21.
There you go.
All right. Just to get a chip replaced.
For what tooth did you chip there, bud?
The one that you bite line with.
Oh, well, imagine that. How many years of biting line? What is it from? They
chipped it when they were cleaning my tooth last time. Their fault.
And you're paying them to repair it?
Yeah, I know. Isn't it stupid? That's how the system works, dude.
Time out. So
I can't prove it. Obviously, after cleaning and you go to your truck and you look in the mirror and you see a tooth chipped, whose fault is it?
Huh. So then you got I would take it to court for 159 and get that same judge that you convinced that you can break the law. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Get him and then say, listen, I know I've been biting line for 30 years, maybe 45 years, but this chip had nothing to do with that. Fang repair.
Actually, Brad, we got to go back to epic comments of the night right here. This is pretty good. This is funny.
That's exactly, man. Yeah, this is awesome, man. This is all. Just look at what's happening right now, man. Robert Linson, you know I got some gambler baits. Anyway, man, I was on the BTL episode with Matt Pangrate, Robert G, and Juice's jigs, and that was a blast, man. It was really cool to hear about
Really?
Robert G. Did you see Robert G? And him and I kind of talked about the 4,000 size reel. And guess what?
Really?
He's a fan of the exact model I've been using for 3 years with you.
When was that episode, Eric?
The Shimano XNs. It was, I just put it on my story. If you look at TK, like it was last week.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I held up all the crankbaits. You know, Matt was doing a show and tell. I showed the
I
crankbaits,
thought
went
the
through it.
co-host had to have a signed agreement to go on other podcasts, or especially now that you're becoming way more popular than me and you're getting, asked to be in important events and just kind of like a national name in fishing. And you're just like leaving me behind. Here's me sitting up here doing my little podcast, talking to a computer screen, putting my heart and soul in this thing every Monday night.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Paying
bills online.
Getting guests and busting my butt here. And you just take all the fame and glory and you get all the invites to other podcasts and Bass Talk Live and Mark Zona's show. And
I wasn't on Mark Zona's show. Weren't you on day 5 with Pangrak for your guide service?
I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you could get all those invites too, man. There's no question about it. You're just not available for it, man. I'm still a free agent, bro. You had a chance to wrap me up with a national contract and you flinched. So I'm a free agent, bro.
Uh-huh.
It was a good show though, man. It was a really good show.
Good.
I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, man, he's a fan. 4,000 reel. And he's a G Loomis guy.
I'll tell you what, I'd be a fan if I didn't already own all 3,000s.
Believe me, I fully appreciate what you're saying. I mean, replacing all those, you should try one, because guess what? I mean, you could sell all of them and then flip the switch.
Sure.
But for guiding, I get it.
No, I want the best. It'd be interesting. Is there a huge weight difference between the?
No.
Well, I'd like to look at some point. If anyone in the comments can look up a Shimano Vanford and tell me how many ounce difference there is between a 3,000 and a 4,000, that'd be great. See, what we're going to do is we're going to have our listeners are going to be like our intern. You know how some podcasts have a little guy over there that types in and looks up all the information? We're relying on you, the viewer, to do it. And the first person to come back with the right answer
wins a SmallmouthCrush lure pack.
Which I don't have, but
yes, you do. You said you were going to get back to the giveaways. Don't lie. What's the giveaway tonight? You said we're getting back to giveaways. We're getting back to have show guest lineup. We're getting back to seasonal topics. You were fired up, man, about 10 minutes before you started taping that box up to send back to Amazon and writing the check for your chipped tooth. And then it just went off the cliff. I mean, you get those moments of energy and you think it's going to happen. There it is. Super chat. Woo!
Here we go. Super chat, guys. Regulars. This know exactly what this is. Somehow you sign up with an account, you link your credit card, you donate some money. YouTube gets most of it, so they can.
And Travis gets a new front tooth.
Put more, socialist ads on, and then I get a small sliver of that, which I then split with Eric. And then what we do?
You don't. That is a bold lie. You do not split any of that money with me. I get zero. Zero. But you get a brand new Fang, man. That's what this money's going for tonight. It's kind of odd. You haven't done a giveaway in a while. All of a sudden, you write the $156 check, and now you're doing a super chat giveaway.
Right.
I mean,
our goal tonight is to pay for that chip Fang. All right, guys. I'm seeing
the dots, dude.
Are you looking at the comments here? Look at all the interns here helping us out with the difference in the weight. 13-ounce difference.
More than an ounce. There's a bunch of different ones. So on the end of a 7.6 rod, doesn't mean anything to me. I don't even feel it. My 7.3 Loomises, and so it's all about the balance. I don't really care how much. This is just my perspective. I don't care how much the reel weighs. To me, it's way more important.
The feel.
You're correct, but it's way more important is how tip heavy your rod is. You could take a heavier reel and put it on a really heavy rod, and it feels just not good to the whole balance point is off. I can tell you this with my 7.3 to 7.6s, they balance perfectly. That's the most important part. I would much prefer a lighter rod and a balanced rod than a lighter reel in an unbalanced rod. A tip heavy rod does nothing for me.
I got you. Speaking of rods, you know, being a Ned rig or small finesse bait enthusiast, the St. Croix Legend Elite 7-foot medium light is a rod I've been using now, I think, for 2 years. And that has replaced my in the extreme lineup of rods from St. Croix. They don't make a true 7-foot medium light. They make a 610 or a 7.6, I believe. And so
nothing
I like
in between.
No in between. Wow. But the Legend Elite, which is just as good, in my opinion, worked. And then I still have a few of the old Legend Extreme green ones. You might remember
dude, I love those
with me. And there was a 7-foot medium light. So here's what happened. I had a client, and we had a little issue with a rod breakage earlier this week. And it was I only have two. I have one more left of that Legend Elite. So that's got to get replaced. And so I had to pull out one of my old green rods from a few years ago.
That's not a bad thing.
No,
what'd you think going back?
Dude.
It did. It felt familiar, right? I mean, when you get something that you're dialed into, I love those handles too. Those are really cool. But
I remember this rod. Anyways, long story short, I gotta get that replaced. No. I'm just saying it's really cool to have the right feel, especially for the type of fishing I do. Well, anyone who's serious with any technique, like I say, put it this way. If you're like a frog, like that's what you love to do is throw a frog. And let's say you like to do a lot of other techniques, but you love frog fishing. Well, go do some research, go explore, go try to find like the ultimate best rod that suits your needs, that fits your, style of fishing, and splurge a little bit on that favorite technique, if you will. Does that make sense?
I agree, man. Get dialed in, man.
And so I love the splurge on the finesse deal. Like I like my high-end extremes and Legend Elites for that application. I like a Vanford. I think it's got a great drag system. Although the St. Croix 7s, those reels have been really good as well. And so I'm kind of debating between those two. I'm curious if they make a 4,000. I might have to look into that.
You have to look, man. Hey, real quick. There's time out real fast. One other thing, man. So Robert G, who's been doing pretty damn good, man. A lot of top fives and right up there. I mean, scared to win on the St. Lawrence. We all heard about that. But he talked about hook. And he believes that the black nickel hooks come out far less frequently. He loses less fish on a black nickel than the nano coated. I didn't even finish it. Than the nano coated hooks. And if you've watched him fish, you listen to his drag start almost immediately. And he talks about, watch the episode. He talks about, and Panger talked about this too, how he had a horrible season on the opens. He lost so many fish. He was so mind screwed at the point where he said if he hooked a big one, he's like, oh my God, I hope it's not a big fish, because he was losing big fish after big fish. But it's all about, and the legend Rick Clunn said it best, keep that hook point momentum coming towards the boat from the hook set to playing the fish. And so you got to think about where you're moving your rod, when a fish is taking a run, if they're diving. And Robert G's figured some stuff out. So it was a great episode. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You'll pick up some tips from the G-Man. Not me, Robert G. And it's a good one, man. It's a good one. Hall of Fame edition with exactly.
Real quick, guys. Before I forget, we do have we're going to get back to the giveaways, and that's with the super chat 84. You are in it. For every $1 donation tonight, you get an entry, and we pick it at the end of the show. Let me show you guys what your prize package is. A brand new, nice Monster Bass hat.
Richardson 112 trucker, right?
Yeah, you're going to get a little Great Lakes finesse, a Great Lakes smallmouth crush country sticker.
Hey, man, I came with that idea, didn't I, Travis?
Yes, yeah. You're going to get a buff, smallmouth crush buff. Boom.
Oh, the buffs are back, babe.
You're going to get a Beast Coast. I don't know. Just a cool long sleeve T-shirt.
Anything on the back there?
I don't know. I didn't open it up yet. You're going to get
Probably
this.
the logo.
This is a big deal, guys. AFCO Monster Bass.
Look at that, man.
It's an extra large. That's a pretty cool little deal right there. All right. It's a warm one. So it's a warm one.
It's like a warmer hoodie, is what you're saying?
Yeah, the AFCO. I don't know what this one is, but that's going to be part of the prize package. And then we're going to throw in a Monster Bass pack with a couple cool baits in here. Let's see if there's anything. Oh, wow. That's a kind of a cool sticker, huh? For Halloween. Eric doesn't care.
Very cool. No, I know, man. I'm just doing I'm writing some checks.
Bunch of plastics. You're writing some checks. Kick-ass topwater pop bars. We got some frogs in here. This is the cool little box bag, I should say. That's going to be in it too. So good prize package tonight, guys. That's with the super chats. Every dollar you enter, you'll be in the drawing at the end of the night.
Sean's talking about the Twin Power. Sean, I do have the Twin Power, and I throw it in salt water. I fought a tarpon on a Twin Power, man.
Blockett's Pocket Rocket, $10. You're in.
Oh, dude, look at that, man. Yes, I did see Joe Raymond 7-pounder in a tournament out of the Susquehanna. Tom Pavlov Fang Repair giveaway.
Well, then, now
that's right, man.
Is the
Smallmouth, the last one, said, if I win, I'll give the package to a high school angler.
There you go. There you go.
That's nice. That's nice. That's nice, man.
Yes, Joe's 7-pounder.
How about that, dude? In a tournament too.
Now, yes.
It sounds like you got something to say.
I'm not going to say anything.
I think you should. Why not? You got something to say.
I haven't talked to Joe about it yet.
What are you trying to ask him?
Was it weighed on his scale as well, or just the tournament scale? Because tournament scales sometimes weigh heavier. Remember when Great Lakes Finesse came in with 35 pounds?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tournament scales run heavy.
Oh, so what you're saying is that wasn't a 35-pound bag.
I'm picking on Dan, and I'm sorry, guys.
I got you. So you're saying my 34-pound bag.
Stab. I didn't mean that.
My 34-pound bag still beats theirs because it was two guys weighing in 34 pounds, or maybe right. Exactly.
MC, you're in.
MC the Hammer. $5 holla.
Listen, the fish looked like a heavy 4.5, so I would love to see a nice quality picture of that 7-pounder.
Did you just say Joe's fish looked like a nice 4.5?
I'm going to look at it right now.
Listen, when's the last time anybody could judge a fish from a picture? We could do this all day long. You could hold up a picture of a fish. You could put it on the screen and have everybody guess the weight. You can't guess the weight when you hook them. It's true, man.
Joe Raymond.
Look at Travis starting some stuff right here live.
Joe.
Did you say Ho Raymond?
That's what it came up as.
You have Joe Raymond in your phone.
No,
Raymond?
Let me just look.
Do. Yeah, you do.
Gosh, I don't see it, bud. I see a basket that must weigh 2 pounds.
Hey, listen, Blockett's Pocket Rocket just said another $5 for Joe Raymond's maybe 7-pounder.
Maybe we'll have to get Joe on the show.
Whoa, Wave Currents and Ice for $20. After having installed a Tarova DIY, I can see why some people leave it to the dealer, but no regrets now. I'm spot lock. Way to go.
There you go, Waves. You're in. Man,
Dude,
you guys are liking the gift pack tonight.
I mean, I think they're just feeling sorry for you about your tooth.
Probably. We're going to get that $167 back. Joe Raymond, I know you're going to hear about this podcast. You're going to hear about this live stream, and you're going to wonder.
I already texted him.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You're going to wonder,
right now.
Is Travis talking shit about me? Joe.
I'm calling him up right now.
It looks like a legit 7-pounder. I get it. We're good.
I'm calling right now. Call him right now. I'm like, you got to tune in. This is bullshit. He's attacking you. Your dog. Yo, Joe, are you watching Smallmouth Crush right now? Because Travis is throwing some serious shade on your 7-pounder. He said it looked like a 2-pound basket. He goes, yeah, that's a nice 4.5 pounder. I'm like, Travis, you're starting some shit live. We got like 200 people watching. You need to jump on this stream right now and defend it. It's crazy. No, he's not. Dude, I'm not kidding you, man. He just did. Joe, we are live right now in Smallmouth Crush. I have interrupted the show to call you because I cannot take it. I'm upset.
Dude, I don't want to battle him on freaking on the internet.
Don't you worry about you battling him. I will fuck him up. I will take Travis to the mat.
It was 24 inches long and it was weighed on a scale.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine.
That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, Travis is the one with the shitty scale. He screwed me out of a 34-pound bag, but I got him a bumper scale for that reason.
Dude, what?
He is right now. He's doing it. I swear to God, he's doing it. You got to watch. Joe, you got to watch. He's not being serious. No, he's not. I just had to call you up, man, just to make sure. Congratulations, bro. That's awesome. Yeah. All right, man. I'll call you later, man. But hey, come on the show. I'm literally live talking to you right now. They're literally listening to me talk right now. But Blockett's Pocket Rocket has donated $5 to get Joe on to defend the allegation. That's what I will beam you in. You want me to send you the link? Travis, you got to get him on. All right, I'll send you the link. Travis, send him the link.
All right.
He's sending you the link. Get you on right now. We're going to settle the score. All right, bro. Check your email.
I thought this was going to be a quick show tonight.
Yeah, I'm here. All right. You can stream from StreamYard on your phone for sure. Do you have his email address, Travis?
I'm going to look right now.
Hold on. Hold on. Let me see if I can do it via my phone.
Dude, you called me off guard. I was on the phone with one of my colleagues, and you called in. And I was like, dude, my phone has been blowing up all day about this.
What's his email?
Oh, hold on. Hold on. Joe, what's your email? I'm going to type it in the private chat, Travis.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
I guess this isn't going to be a quick show tonight. We got 7-pound records coming to Susquehanna, potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
We got
9-1
9-pounders coming out of the St. Lawrence River. I don't know what to do.
A 9-1. What are you going to throw some shade on that when Dante comes on?
No, I'm just saying I don't know if Joe's smallmouth
because you didn't catch it. That's what's going on.
I don't care about a skinny 7-pounder from the Susquehanna River, bud.
You just said you don't care about a 7-pounder, skinny 7-pounder from the Susquehanna. That's PA, bro.
Where's the private chat?
Hold on. You don't know where your private chat is?
I know where my private chat is. I just can't see it.
I'm texting it to you.
All right.
All right, here it comes. This is awesome. I can't believe
it's not awesome. I did not want to get involved in this.
Well, you had to throw shade, bro, and I had to call you out. I had to call him. Absolutely. We got a defense fund for Joe too, man.
A defense fund?
Yeah, I'm starting a GoFundMe page for Joe to sue you. It's defamation of character. He's a guide. You can't do that to a fellow guide and friend. Didn't he show you the way with Z-Man Plastics too? You owe him a lot, man.
All right.
I mean, Cortland Braid, right?
Listen, I know our main guest of the night is waiting backstage, so we do apologize. We went sidetracked. It's just going to be a little bit. We're going to talk to someone that supposedly caught a very large fish on the Susquehanna River real quick. This was unexpected. And then where's JP? JP was supposed to join us tonight.
Anthony.
What did he say?
Don't send me your pick through monster bass box if I wouldn't give it away to Fish Killer George on film.
I saw George the other day putting smallmouth on the stringer again.
That's tough, man. That's tough. All right. Did you send the link to Joe?
Yeah.
All right, good. He's logging in now.
Matthew. What are we gonna do with you, bud?
Exactly. He's got your number, man.
Man,
He's got your number.
he's almost right up there with
Not even close.
no? Okay. All right.
Not even close, dude. That's all in fun.
All right. Is it?
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. I know him. Yeah. No, I talk to him all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just having fun. He's not even close.
All right.
Not even close.
I don't know.
The guy that we're referencing is a savage. Savagery.
Man.
And no one is safe. That's a fact.
All
right, here we are. Waiting
Are we waiting
Joe.
for Joe?
I don't know. Did you send it to him?
He's probably got to brush his teeth and I don't know what he. Joe's different. You could tell. You know, he gets nervous when you put him on the spot for sure.
That's right.
I'm just going to look at this. I'm just going to look at this smallmouth one more time.
Can't you share the picture on the screen for everybody? Right?
Yeah, I can do that. No, I'm not bashing him. So I'm not. This isn't a debate. This is a beautiful 7-pound smallmouth, Joe. All right.
I mean, there's the scale. There's the scale entry 708.
I see the scale, but do you see that 2-pound crate that's on top of the scale?
Yeah, but what they do is they zero it out, bro. What is this? All right,
Nah,
here's another
those
picture.
got connections.
Look at the guy's foot.
Next, he's going to say there's a 3-pound channel cat in his mouth.
Look at the guy's foot on this side of the screen.
I understand it's 24 inches.
Dude, 24 inches. Do you realize a 24-inch largemouth is like 9.5? It could be 10 pounds.
All right, we're going to get Little
That's
Nibbles on the stage.
too.
That's his screen name. He just popped up below here.
Right.
You got to turn your camera on, Joe, before we can bring you on. I can't believe you're doing this. I simply said, congratulations, Joe, for a 7-pounder.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't, dude. I saw it. You wanted to talk about it. You had something going on.
I don't.
And then I made you start talking. It was the way you said it. I had to nail you.
No,
dude.
you called me up. You acted like I was wondering if it was a true 7-pounder.
And then you showed your hand. Right? I could tell, dude. You were not convinced, man. You were not.
All right,
convinced.
thanks. We got another $2.
If you guys want to give Joe a follow, Joe Raymond is dynamite, man. He's a solid dude. He had this. He was chasing these giant muskies up north, and he was smashing them.
For some reason, I see these down below trying to fumble with the camera and the mic. So let's give him a second here.
Okay.
It appears that way.
Oh,
guys, later on in the show here, after we get done talking.
Joe, you having trouble?
No, right at the end, it says I'm backstage.
He's backstage. Just push the button, Travis.
Okay. Hey, welcome.
Turn your camera on.
You got to hang up on your phone. So you can do that.
Oh, if you're on your phone, are you on your phone in your truck?
No.
Huh. You got to give it access. It might ask you, go to settings.
You figured out. I got to get another beer.
Stream.
Yep.
Do I have to download an app for this?
Yeah, you probably have to. Yep. Yep. We got time. Travis says we're only getting another beer. Yeah. Like when you click the link, right? It'll probably ask you to go and download something.
Yeah.
Yep. You might have to do that, bro.
Oh my God. StreamYard guest, join a studio as a guest.
Yeah, do that. Yep. There you go. Give that a shot there, bud.
All right.
Another $5, Travis. Another $5. We're just
burned in $5.
Burns in for $5.
Burn.
What are you writing that down? So
Yeah,
you
I'm
can do
keeping
your,
track, bud. Did
I
we
can
get
keep a
young?
track. Aren't you supposed to put that into a computer, Travis? Or so
Yeah, I
you're
am.
saying the
I do both in case I lose the.
No, you shouldn't have to pay for it. He's saying Joe. That's crazy. How late are you going to be up tonight, Joe?
Yeah.
Are you an early riser and are you a late night wolf, bro?
I'll be up for a little bit yet.
All right, try to work on that. We'll get you back on the show. We got the other guy with the 9-1 in New York pending state record. We're going to bring him on and we'll bring you back in. All right, brother. Peace. All right, he's going to do some technical troubleshooting.
Okay,
And
great.
let's get to the show topic of the night. I
Yes,
can't believe you started that shit up, man.
I didn't start it up.
You did. You went like this. You threw shade right away, man. But anyway, that's not the focus of the show, man. Let's get to the next pending 9-1.
Yeah. Matthew, my schedule is not up to date on my calendar. It hasn't been up to date since June. I do apologize for that.
Oh, dude, look at that, man. Michael Jones caught a 6-1 at the river.
Oh, hold on, little nibbles, real quick. Little nibbles.
There.
M. Jones, I'm
What's
stoked
up,
for you,
bud?
bro.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in.
Welcome. Congratulations, bud.
Yeah. So what's this?
No, I don't know
talk
what's going on. Eric accused me of telling everybody that your fish isn't 7 pounds, and he started something that he needs to finish and clean up real quick here.
Joe, I'm going to say is watch the replay, man. You'll see Travis's face. He
Were you
immediately
talking
starts
shit,
going.
Travis?
He
No.
truly was.
I don't
Yes, he
talk
was.
shit, Joe. You know that.
Honestly, I didn't think you would. I thought Eric was kind of instigating,
Thank
but
you.
I guess I don't really have time to go back and watch, but maybe I will at some point.
I'm going to send you a clip, bro. You'll see.
My scale,
You'll see.
we weighed that thing on my boat before we took it in, and it was 719, and on the
Wow.
scale back there, it was 708.
Okay, that's fair.
So it was, it was not
Let's
as big
call
as,
it a 7-pounder then.
not as big as the ones you catch, Travis.
No,
of course.
but that's huge.
But it's decent. It's respectable. It might
Are there
be.
any gobies on the Susquehanna?
I don't know. I don't think so.
No.
Thanks, Michael. We got you in.
That's
That's like a natural river fish. How old is that fish, Joe?
Dude, that's a good question. So, there's only one way to really find out, and it would be you'd have to
Grab a scale, send it to the DNR.
you'd have to kill the fish.
No.
They're basically, they have to, you kill the fish, they dig into its head, and there's something in the ear that has rings that they count, and they can determine its exact age, but that's probably the only way you could really do it. But dude, who knows?
How long you been guiding? How long you been guiding on that river?
12 years.
Yeah. How long you been fishing the river?
I mean, really my entire life. I got real serious into it probably like 15 years ago.
And how many 24-inch smallmouth have you seen come out of that river?
Dude, this is the honest to God truth. And this is, it is crazy as this sets in, but this is likely the biggest smallmouth ever caught out of the Susquehanna in terms of weight and length. There was back in 1981, there was a guy
let's mark that, Travis. Let's mark that.
So it is kind of crazy. I mean, it's a fish that I was waiting to see a 6-pounder.
Right.
Like I've never seen a legit 6-pounder come out of the Susquehanna. You see guys post stuff, but there's never any
True weight.
Is that, is it a 4-pounder? It doesn't.
It's hard to tell.
There's no pictures of it on a scale. There's no pictures of it on a measuring board. It's just some guy long arming a fish. And I don't know. You don't know.
All right.
But, I've never seen a 6-pounder in person. So that's really what I wanted to see someday. I want to see a freaking 6-pounder out of the Susquehanna. Then I'll be happy.
I mean, that fish laying on the bottom of Joe's boat measures 24 inches there. That's
fish
crazy.
Was retarded. That fish jumped out of the water and did a backflip in front of me, 15 feet from the boat. It screamed. I set the hook, and that cocksucker came screaming up out of the water and did a freaking backflip. And dude, I swear to God, that's the biggest bass I've ever seen in my life. And Tom's
crazy?
sitting back there screwing around trying to get it, knots retied and stuff like that. Because, dude, we had just broken off. Both of us had just broken off. Like, it
Wow.
was a disaster of a day, really. Like, it was a disaster of a day. Tackle issues. We had a lot of fun, but it was like, so I just got done tying a fresh leader on, a fresh bait, tossed it out there, hit the bottom. Dude, I set the hook, and this thing came up out of the water. And I had already lost a couple fish. I not big fish, but like fish that would have helped us big time, like 2 and 3 pounders. And so I'm like, dude, you're not going to land this fish, and it's probably the
Right.
biggest smallmouth you've ever caught in your freaking life.
Did you win the tournament?
Dude, it was retarded. We had 13 pounds for 5 fish. That one
Pretty
fish
good
was
bag.
bigger. That one fish was bigger than our other 4.
That's crazy.
That stretch of river up there is not known for having big fish. Like, it was expected
amazing?
that 12 to 15 pounds would win it, and 15 pounds would be a really big bag. And 15 pounds is what won it, but that's what you're dealing with. If you can do a 3-pound average, you're the man up there.
Isn't
Yeah.
that amazing?
So that
real-
fish, like, what was it doing there? Like, that is the last place on earth I would have thought that the biggest fish in
Amazing.
Susquehanna would be living. But
Real quick, what did you can you tell us what you caught on, like, for real, or
that's what I
you're
caught
saying
it on, dude. I kept getting snagged. We just needed a limit of fish and like respectable fish. So I'm fishing a bait that I know gets bites. I'm not fishing for a 7-pound smallmouth. I mean,
Sure.
everybody's always fishing for a 7-pounder, of course, but that's not like. So I had that little freaking minnow Z, and I that's what I kept losing the fish on. Like I was. I don't want to get into too much about it because I'm supposed to do another podcast about this, and I told them I'd save
All
this
right.
story for them. But
sorry?
that is what
All
I
right.
called it
No,
on,
that's
and
okay. That's okay.
I was having issues with it. An open hook, it was getting snagged a lot, and with the more weedless setup, I kept losing fish. Like, and
It doesn't have the
so
bite gap you need.
I rigged it back up weedless, and that's why when that fish came out of the water, I was like, dude, you're gonna lose this one just like you lost all those freaking other ones. But it stayed pinned on, and that's what I caught it on. It was retarded. That is a very good bait. It gets fish in the boat, but that is not what I would have guessed the biggest fish in the Susquehanna would have ate.
Yeah.
Man, that's
Joe,
amazing, man. That's amazing.
Listen, it's been a while since we had you on. I know you've been on.
Get him back on. Let's set it up.
And I'd like
Travis.
let's do a formal kind of
Yes.
schedule, maybe in
Yes.
a couple, like a month or two, when things get slow,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
All
Let's
right.
do it, Joe. Let's
All right,
do it.
guys.
That'd be awesome, man. Great. Thanks for popping on real quick, man. I'm glad you got a chance to like talk about it and to show Travis, just how big that fish was. A 24-inch smallmouth.
So I
There are
got
25-inch largemouth that are 11, 12
But
pounds.
listen, dude, you know what else is crazy about this? When you get this guy on that caught the 9-pounder, try and get it out of him what time of the day he caught that fish, because literally, like, it could have happened in the same hour where one of the largest fish that ever got caught out of the Susquehanna and one of the largest fish that's ever been caught out of the St. Lawrence, it could have happened within the same hour, and there could be
Isn't
something.
that amazing?
There could
What
be
time
something.
did you catch her? What time did you catch that fish? About
It was like 9:55.
All right.
Mark it. Here we go. Great. We're coming back, man. This is awesome,
Yeah.
Joe.
Try
All right,
and
brother.
Yeah. All right. Cool, guys.
We'll do it, man. Thank you, man.
All right,
Appreciate
Joe. Thank
coming
you.
on the
see you guys.
spot. Awesome.
All right.
Live from the Susquehanna, rock crawler Joe Raymond.
See you, Joe.
Yeah.
All right, man.
All right. Let's get to it, man. Dante's in the background. A 7
Listen.
and a 9. Same day, same weekend. Holy moly.
What's up, bud?
Yo!
What's going on, boys?
There he is.
What's going on?
Did you catch it at 9:55? That's what everyone wants to know right now.
It was 9 something. I don't remember
Really?
the exact time, but it was in the morning. It might have been like between 8:45 and 9 o'clock, I feel like.
Gotcha.
It was
Gotcha.
soon after
Dude,
that.
I mean, that's within the same hour, dude. Holy moly.
Yeah,
That's
it was-
crazy.
It was first thing in the
That's
morning.
freaky.
Crazy.
That's literally freaky. That's freaky.
They were chewing that day for sure.
Susquehanna River's record and a 9-1 pending New York. When's it going to be certified?
Well, hold on, hold on.
Like,
We
all right,
gotta
all right,
let's
go,
push
Travis.
it back
Smallmouth.
way up.
What
up.
are you doing, dude?
I'm
Introduce
trying to
him.
be a host. Listen.
Run the show, bro. You were pulling
Okay.
shots earlier. Come on.
First of all, I would like to welcome our guest this evening.
Yes.
Extremely impressive angler. He has done some amazing things. I want to talk more. Listen, what you did with this big ass smallmouth over the weekend is impressive. But what the hell you got going on the last couple of years is even more impressive. And so we need to dig a little deeper before we even get into this fish.
I mean, I think you should introduce him as the SmallmouthCrush Open winner.
And yes, and the past winner. He's been on the show before.
Yeah.
Never been on the show. Never been on the show.
Didn't you and Joe come on the show?
No.
No, dude. When he beat our ass with no electronics and no trolling motor, just drifting the river to really super embarrass us? Are you kidding me? I mean, well, I'm not a scoper, but
wow.
No, Travis, you just imagined this in the other reality.
I guess so.
It's the alternate show that he was on in your head.
It could have been. All right. I thought we had the winner. Okay. Maybe not.
No, Travis, you should have, but okay. I mean, I think he'll accept that as an apology.
Yeah, sorry.
I'll apologize on behalf of the show for not having you on.
Can you give us just give us an introduction, man? How long have you been fishing? Like what's your like I want you're a mysterious guy, okay?
Yeah.
You are, right? Like you got the look, you got the deal, like you look a little intimidating sometimes. Like I don't know. Like so what's your story, man? Where did you grow up? Tell us about yourself before we get into the fishing.
All right. So I grew up in Syracuse in Baldensville, inside of Syracuse, about 2.5 hours south of the river from Messina. But I mean, the man who really got me involved in fishing was my grandfather, and he lives in Messina. So I'd go up there summer as a kid, and he got me into it, but we wouldn't really bass fish. I mean, we'd mainly walleye fish and just go drag bottom bouncers and 70 feet. So, I mean, I really just got used to just dragging on the bottom and feeling the bottom like growing up. But I feel like I have a different background than a lot of the other guys that are fishing. Like my father's always been super supportive, but I mean, he never held a fishing rod. He'd hold a fishing rod upside down. I got a funny story about him from two Toyotas ago. I'll tell later, but I really started tournament fishing sophomore year at Clarkson. I fished in college, and I'd like pond hop in high school and like always just loved catching bass, but I really didn't get into it till sophomore year. And my buddy Ben, he was a senior at the time. He kind of took me under his wing and fished the St. Lawrence Regional sophomore year. It was a spawn tournament, so I'm not really a fan of fishing during the spawn, but that was like the first year I really started fishing, and then came in the top 10 there. So we qualified to fish at Chick in 2019. So we went down there and got to kind of travel down south, fish there, fish Toledo Bend, fish Cumberland. So from like sophomore year to senior year, got to fish for Clarkson, like school paid for everything. So that was super great. Like kind of got the scene into the bass fishing and rode with Ben, and then fished with a couple other guys junior, senior year. And then senior year, I graduated in 21. And I kind of risked it. I emptied my bank account to zero. And my buddy Ethan, he's from up in the Clayton area. I didn't really know him that well, but I was just messaging him on Instagram, like friend of a friend. And he was like, I found a boat on Marketplace. I had a 1999 Skeeter. That was the boat I ran the last 2 years. And I worked full-time job, 9 to 5. So I didn't have time I just started the job. So I didn't really have any time to take off. So we ripped down to Kentucky in his truck. He was like, no questions asked. He was like totally volunteered to go drive me down. I didn't even have a vehicle to tow a boat. He's like, hop in my truck. We'll drive down to Kentucky. We left like Friday after work, ripped straight through the night. And I have a history of hitting deer in vehicles. So before I was driving at the night and during the night, and he was like, before he fell asleep, he's like, just don't hit a deer. So I was like, I was pinned up 10-2, just staring, just I really didn't know him that well. Like he totally barely even knew him, and he volunteered to come drive to Kentucky overnight, pick up a boat and drive back.
Man, that's awesome, man. Just shows you.
It was crazy. So we ripped down, we slept in the like outside this guy's house in his road from like 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. Got up, dumped the boat in on Kentucky Lake, and it was super foggy. And I had Ethan drive the boat because I never even really like drove a bass boat before. So Ethan was driving.
Holy moly.
It was thick fog. And before we went down, Ethan's like, we're not leaving there until like we run that boat hard. Like you're gonna know that it's a good boat. So the guy who owned the boat previously was like, hey man, it's thick fog. Like really don't want to like drive this boat too fast. And Ethan's like, no, like we're pinning her like Wide Henry. So we're driving on Kentucky Lake, and it's like
Wide Henry.
It was scary, and it was like there are a lot of people crappie fish down there, and he was like, there's going to be guys out fishing, and he pinned it, and we were fine. We didn't hit anything, and we took it back and got back Sunday night. Went right back to work early Monday, and
Right.
that was like what really started it. So I got that boat November of 21. And then obviously with our season up here, I just didn't really, I think I dumped it in like Autisco Lake. And that was like the only time I fished there because it was just kind of close to Syracuse. And then put in storage. And then one of the first tournaments of the year was the tournament that you guys put on. And I hopped in Joe's boat. So we fished that one. Me and Joe won a few derbs that year, and that was a good year. That was pre-live scope. So that was just dragging in the river, and that's like my favorite way to fish. But I mean, it's hard to compete nowadays doing that. So you kind of had to, as you guys know, the game changed, and you have to shift and adapt to the different technology that we have now. So that was 2021 year. Me and Joe fished a lot of team derbs. I think I fished the Toyota that year too, and I stuck around Messina and dragged around there, and I think I came in 30 something. I was like one of the last checks, so I had a decent finish there for like the first tournament. You know, I just got out of school. I literally emptied my bank account to zero and just bought this boat, so it was like a big
Holy
deal.
moly.
Wow. It was cool. And then the year after that, I fished the Toyota again. I fished the Bait Fuel Tour. So that's like it's a Canadian trail for guys that don't know. It used to be called the Renegade, and they go like double header in Cornwall. They go to Trenton, Bay of Quinte. It's a largemouth only derb, and then
cool.
I think they did one out of Brockville, and then Cardinal, which is like across from Lisbon, and then there was one across from Waddington. So we did that last year. Didn't win any.
Team trail?
Yeah, that's a team
trail. Very cool. All right.
That's the trail. They do a cool gig where they give away a like $80,000 Canadian bass cat package at the end of the year. Like if you're familiar with the Thousand Island Open format.
Yeah, Travis, why aren't you fishing that? Bait Fuel boat, Jason Gramata, man. You got it in, bro.
Yeah, he's in there too.
Big JP, bro. Come on, man. Yeah, Jason Gramata, right on. He's been on the show. Yeah. All right, keep going, man. So didn't win any, but
so last year. Yeah, so me and Joe won a few that first year, and then last year we didn't win any. Came up short a few times, but we were still like, I was purely live scoping last year. I kind of gave up on the drifting program because I knew that like it's going to change, and you got to adapt or you get left behind. So, last year was a little frustrating, but it was still good. I mean, we got out as much as we could, but like I said, like all my buddies and I that fish, like we all work full-time job, 9 to 5. So we get 15 days off a year, but if you fish a Toyota, you got to take that whole week with a Thursday, Friday derb. And then my sister got married this last year, so like took a few days for that. And there's only a certain amount of days you can take off in a year, and our season's so short that you got to pick and choose what you do with your time off. So usually I'll just try to take a Friday before a weekend and get out there and have a day or two. But this year was probably my best year so far. I picked up a new boat in December, new to me, but used. I picked up a Skeeter in Pittsburgh, and I was running my grandpa's old Honda Pilot, and it was in December. We ripped there, picked it up, same deal. Like left was like 7 hours there, 7 hours back, and then I had another deer coming back. It was on a Sunday. I meant to text my insurance guy the week before, and I forgot, but I sent him a text Sunday morning. I was like, hey man, like I'm picking up a new boat today. Any way I can insure it? He's like, probably not. It's a Sunday, but just don't hit anything. And I was like, oh god, all right.
No way.
I'm running my 2010 Honda Pilot, like 150,000 miles on it. And I was going to keep running it to the ground because, like, I just got out of school. So I was like south of Rochester and I was literally going 70 on just cruise. And the deer walked out like super slow right across both lanes. There was traffic. So
Did it hit the boat? That's what I want to know.
Somehow did not hit the boat, but I hit it square on. It was the whole pilot. It was immediately totaled, smoking, leaking. Every check engine light came on. I didn't know what to do. Joe was like, Joe's sitting there. Like, if anyone knows Joe, he's the calmest guy out there. Like, he was back snoring asleep, not even 5 minutes after we hit it. But I ended up driving it another 3 hours all the way back up to Clayton because I got it shrink wrapped and just kept it outside. But it was a miracle that I made it back.
Wow, that's crazy.
So I picked that up, threw it in storage, and then this year fished a bait fuel tour again, fished the Thousand Island Open out of Kingston. Bait fuel tour started in Trent again, largemouth only. That place has my number. I can't figure them out there. It's like,
really?
Which one was that? The Bay of Quinte?
Yeah, Bay of Quinte. It's like,
where do they launch?
Largemouth.
It's out of Trenton, so it's like kind of shaped like a Z. Yeah, it's largemouth only. There's smallmouth in there, but it's known as a walleye fishery. But it's like shaped like a Z. We launched all the way in Trenton, which is like the back corner of the Z. So this year I ran all the way to like almost the cutoff and found some clear water and thought I was on better fish than the year prior. But they all just end up being like 2 pound, 2 ounce. I think we caught like 40 fish that were like 2 pound, 2 ounce.
Whoa! So what does it take to win? What does it take to win up there?
I think like 1 or 2 guys catch like 19 or close to 20, and then it falls right off. I think there was 25 bags that were all 15 something.
Oh, so wow! So the 3 pound average, it falls off like a stone.
Yeah, just straight up cookie cutters there.
Hey, real quick, I just want to bring on Big JP. He was invited earlier to start. JP, we got Dante on. He obviously, so I'll tell you guys a funny story. Yesterday, I was out guiding with some clients, and they asked me, it was an afternoon trip, and they asked me what the New York State record was. And I go, I don't know. I don't know if it's 9 or 8. I thought it was out of Cayuga. I'm like, I have no clue. And we were talking about it for a little while, and they were joking every time they hooked up. They were like, oh, it's a state record, right? And JP sends me a text that night or that evening, like 6 or something. And it was with the fish you caught. I'm like, oh, shit, guys, guess what? We were just talking about this. The state record was broken today, and we're going to get into that story.
What are the odds?
Wait, bud, you got anything you want to add? Because I'm digging this story, and I want to continue the flow. But what's up, bud?
Just congratulations. Keep the story flowing, bud. I was a little
preoccupied. All right, let's go. All right, so you hit a deer. You're heading back. Your fish. Oh, where are we at? Largemouth Bay. Got it.
Bay of Quinte started this year. That place just had my number, so we didn't catch them. We came in like close to last. I don't know. We weighed like 12 or 13 pounds or something. So it was like tough start to the year. And then second tournament was out of Brockville. My sister got married July 4th weekend, so I wasn't on the water. Obviously, went down to Long Island for that, and then came back up. I think had a day of practice out there, and it's like that July. It was July 13th, so like that time frame, you guys all know, it's like that transition, like post spawn, they're kind of still shallow, kind of still moving, working their way out deep. So we ended up coming in. We ran down towards the mouth again. Their cutoffs are kind of weird. It's like it's both ferries, so it's like the Wolf Island ferry on the U.S. side, the ferry dock, and then the Kingston ferry is like there's more water on the Canadian side, so their cutoffs are not the standard like Toyota series where they cut it at like Tibbetts straight line. Theirs is like different. So we came in second at Brockville. I think they do best 4 fish. I think we had 20 and change there, but we came up short.
You fish the 4 fish format differently or not really?
It's almost like more of ease in your mind because you only have to catch 4 instead of 5, but like they need to almost be bigger. Like you can't have a 3.5 in your bag. Like you might be able to screw like even a 4, honestly. Like best 5, you might be able to squeak out a 4 and change and be okay. But like when you fish those Canadian guys, like they catch them. Like they have so many years up there on that water that if you don't weigh 20 plus for the 4, like you're done. So you can't really weigh a 4-pounder in there. So Rockville was good. Came second, and then following that was the Thousand Island Open out of Kingston.
Yep.
And we fished that the year before too, and stayed in the river. And this was my first year really fishing the lake too. So now that I had like a full size boat and a reliable setup that I trusted a little more, so we went out Kingston 3-day derb, and it's like I think top. I don't even know what the cut is. They change it like every year, but I think the cutoff top 40 guys maybe
Okay.
fish the 3rd day. So the way it works is they give away that boat just for the Thousand Island Open as well. So I think that's what draws a lot of people in there. And
for sure.
It's like a little cooler almost with like 40 key fobs, and there's 9 keys out of those 40 fobs, and they from second place down picks a foam fob, and if it has a key, then you stand in line, and then they like eliminate odd number, even number once they get 10 keys after everything. So that one was crazy. We had day 1, we went out and it was blowing like 30. Like they almost canceled it. They almost made it river only, I think. But
did you have a long run to your stop or no?
Yes, I found some stuff that was more protected, where like you kind of just had to get through like a 4 or 5 mile stretch that was just nasty. My buddies and I call it like the Hell Bowl. It's just the biggest water you've ever seen. It's just gross.
Hell Bowl.
Yeah, it's nasty. It was like the biggest water I've ever seen. So I'm just like, my eyes are just glued to the wind app, just like checking it. It's like, yeah, it's whenever they call like 30 plus, like Travis, you fish the lake all the time. They don't lie. Whenever it's calling for 30, like it's gonna be big. So we went out first day and scraped up. I think it was tough. I dropped the trolling motor, and I was running 3 lead acid batteries, and one of them went out, and I checked the power pull app, and it was like one of them just had like 6 volts or something. So it was the trolling motor, like I could turn the head of it, but it was like still fried. Like I had no juice.
Oh
so
my God.
It was blowing so hard, I was just drifting. And then we somehow scrambled 19 and a half for 4. I caught a 510 in like the last 10 minutes, drifting right out in front of the ramp almost. And it was like that saved the day. So we were in like, I think we were in, I don't even know, 9th maybe.
Okay.
Maybe 9th. I don't know. We were in the top 20 after the first day, and then go home. Ethan had a battery, so I swapped the one battery that shit out. That was lead acid. And then day 2, we go out. It was a little calmer. I ran all the way to the U.S. side. It was like 40-mile run. Dropped the trolling motor. I'm like, I jinxed it. I was like, oh, great to have a trolling motor today. And then within like the first hour and a half, there was big residual. I think it was going out of the north that day. So there was rollers over there by the mouth of the U.S. side, and the other 2 batteries both fried, and I checked the app, and they were both nut.
What? Good God.
No way. Like, what are the odds? So we run all the way back to the Canadian side, fished down one stretch, and we caught 21 and a half for 4 in like 45 minutes. And we had no fish in the boat. And we literally did one stretch with like no trolling motor. Like if the power pull charge would get it to charge enough so you had juice like just when you hit it, and then it would go out after like a minute. So you had to like use that like very subtly. So they have a thing where you can weigh in early, but it has to be in a time frame from like, I forget what it was, but it has to be from like 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock or something. And if you get past 2 o'clock, or if it's like noon to 1 or whatever the time is, but if you get past the early way, if you get back past the early weigh-in, then you have to wait until your flight weighs in order to weigh in.
Okay.
How many boats in this tournament?
Oh, I think they capped it at 75 this year.
It's always a full field. I tried.
Yeah.
For the record, Eric, I mean, I tried to get in a few years ago.
I remember you telling me.
Yeah.
I don't know how. They used to have 100, and then they like changed it last year and capped it at 75. Like last year they did it, but they changed the payout. Where last year they paid like the top 49 slots got their money back at least. But then like they had like 63 sign up or 60 something sign up, and then they changed the pay format and fixed that so it was better, and then they capped it at 75 boats, and then it filled up immediately. So like, I wish they kept it at 100, but
Right,
Yeah.
right. Anyway, keep going. 21 and a half, right? You
so we
lose
had
your
21
trolling motor
and a
batteries
half
again.
for
Did you
4.
get the weigh in early?
No, it was like 10:30.
Oh, you thought about weighing in early because the live well wasn't working right.
Right.
Well, the live well was fine, but the troll motor was out, and I knew. So we don't. Whenever Joe and I fish these turbs, like we don't get a hotel in Canada. We just cross the border early in the morning, so
Sure.
it's kind of risky. But we were. I was doing the math. I'm like, we were the last flight that day. We were doing back at like 5 or 4. It was something
wow.
late. Right? Like if we
That's
wait.
late.
We weigh our fish and then we like get the boat situated, like wait to pull the boat and then go drive back to the US side. We're not going to be able to get the boat put together until like 9 or 10 o'clock. We're going to be getting bitten by mosquitoes and it's going to be a mess. So we're going to get up at
Yeah.
4 o'clock again and drive the border again. So I was like, we can either risk it and go weigh in with what we have now. And we were like, I don't know, 30 miles or something. I was like, if I was doing the math, I was like, if I pin it to the floor and get back, then I'll literally just make it. So I left at like 126 or something and made it at like 159 with 30 on the Garmin graph. So you can see like the seconds and the
Holy
wind
shit.
picked up and I was going right past the Hellbowl and it was like Joe was just clenching the seat and there was just shit flying. Like all the graphs were upside down and I was just wide open going over like they were just big enough where you like couldn't stay on top, but I just literally did not take the foot off the floor and we made it with like 15 seconds left.
No way,
And then you have
dude.
to idle through the marina and you can't go on pad in the marina. So I was just staring at the clock and we literally barely made it. We weigh in 21 and a half. And then I think we moved up to like 6 and then went home, swapped both batteries. Joe's brother let us borrow a couple batteries. So we got all that situated, go out day 3 and we had a whole day to fish. And then we weighed, it was like 22.99. So basically 23 for 4. And we lost by 0.4 to Kong and Clark. Kong's in the race for the EQ points. He's a hammer up there. So they won the year previously too. So we made a run at it, but that one stung coming up short. But that was still a great tournament.
You lost by how much?
0.4.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, dude. That's like
crazy.
a crayfish or a goby, right?
Yeah, it was
that's
nuts.
razor thin, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you seem to do well. So the DRT behind you, I'm just going to say drift right through. It doesn't matter what happens to you. You lose your graphs, you lose your trolling motor, and dude, you just DRT it. You drift right through and fucking come up big, man. I'm making that. That's my next sticker, Travis, for Dante. Drift right through.
I like
drift
it.
right through that trouble, bro. Man, I mean, it's just the guy. It's crazy to me, man. No graphs, no problem, no trolling motor. Don't freak out, bro.
Hold on. You get like, what's your emotional state? This is important. When this shit happens, because it sounds like a lot of shit happens to you.
Yeah.
Okay?
Deer,
Right?
cars,
Like,
trolling motors, graphs.
what do you do, man? Like, does it mess with you? Do you not care? Are you flipping out? Are you screaming?
I mean, no, I try to stay pretty calm. I mean, back in college, I got hot one time on the water in the first Toyota I fished. And then since then, I kind of learned from it and I try to just stay as cool and calm as I can. But I was that first Toyota out of Messina, I was fishing right near in between Waddington and Messina. And I was there alone the first morning and I had like 3 5-pounders in the boat. And this older guy that was in the Toyota pulls up. It was like a 15 out of the north that day. So if you're when you're drifting, you want to try to stay as straight as you can. And I'm doing a drift off the head of the shoal and then going right down the side. And this guy slides in on me. And I've never had anyone cut me off worse than this, like in my whole life. And like I've been on the water like a fair amount of times, like seen some stuff go down in the water, but like this guy would pull up on the back of my big motor. Like
holy moly.
I could legitimately spit on his front deck. And I was
That's
just, all right, like, I'm gonna ignore him. Like, I'll do one drift and then we'll see what he does. So I do one drift.
Did you talk to him about it? Did you say anything to him?
First drift, I didn't say a word. I just looked back. I was like, wow, like that's insane. Like I was speechless. I was like, I don't even know what to say right now. Like I can't believe, because like, you know, I think what are the rules? Like you can't pull up within like 100 feet of someone is like
30 yards about. That's what I thought the rules were. 30 yards.
He was literally like on my back more. Like my co-angler was like, "What's going on?" So I was like, "All right, I just won't say anything. Like we'll see. I'll do one pass. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Like maybe he's just clueless." Do a drift, and then I fire up the big motor, go run back up, and he waits till I get up there. He fires up his motor and then gets right on my back end again. And then I look at him, I was like, "Look, man, like you weren't here all morning. Like I've been here since we took off. Like you saw me because he was at the far end of the shoal and he was watching me catch him. So he obviously came over, he saw the net get taken out. Like some of the Toyota and Open Skies are ruthless. Like you guys know how it is."
Oh,
So he pulls up, and then I was like, "Look, man, like you weren't here all day. Like, what are you doing?" He's like, "I was here in practice. Look at my trails and my graphs." Trying to explain. I was like, "That's fine. Like you weren't here all morning though, and you watched me catch him, and then you slide in." And then he just kept cutting me off, and then I caught a big one and held it up to him. I was like, "Come get some." And I got hot, and I let it get to me. And then I knew day 2 he was gonna be there. So day 2, like fast forward, I caught, I don't know, 18, 19 or something. And then I pull back there day 2, and we both like get there at the same time. We're both going in like a V, like right together. So I dropped the troll. I was like, all right, like I'm gonna like talk to him, like approach him nice and ask him what's going on. So I was like, "Hey man, like how'd you do yesterday?" And then he just stared at me, and then like 5 seconds went by, and he's like, "Don't fucking worry about it." And I was like, all right, like,
was his name
What's
Travis
the
Manson?
guy's first name?
Travis.
I got a picture of, I don't even know. I'd have to dig back in my phone, but I found him. I found him in the standings because he zeroed, and I was like, "That's why."
Oh, that's painful.
Is he local or where's he from?
No, he wasn't from around here. I didn't even know who it was.
Is he like a big deal? Do people know him?
No.
All right.
He's a nobody. Travis, you asked that question. How's Dante? Look at Dante. He's sitting like this. Travis is like this. What do you do in that situation? That's my fish.
Yeah. So that was like,
you know what? Everybody had different fuel to drive their vibe, man. You know.
Yeah. So that really like taught me. I was like, all right, like you got to stay calm on the water because it's so easy. You have so many factors going on in a tournament. Like so many things need to go right, and that you're like your mind needs to be so sharp, and you need to be so focused on what you're doing that you can't let other factors get in your head. So like that got to me. Like I was inexperienced. I mean, that was my first year like fishing. I was first year driving bass boats. So, like I didn't really fish as a co-angler. I just hopped right into it. So like those are all things that I didn't get to learn from a lot of other people that start as a co and then learn from their boaters. So I kind of just hopped right into it.
Sure.
That taught me how to stay calm. And then the last year at college in 2021, Clarkson hosted the national championship on the river in Waddington. And I had just a heartbreaker of a tournament. We had 2 dead fish each day, and the top 12 fished the final day.
Man.
We tied for 12th with 4 dead fish. So it was a pound penalty over the course of 2 days, and we lost a tiebreaker. It's like 36 pounds and 12 ounces. And that one stung. Like that drove the train for a while. Like that fueled it for a while. So that one stunk. 'Cause like I had to get up and watch them take off. I was like, that's kind of like my home turf up there, like home away from home. So that one stung, and then that one Toyota where I got hot. I mean, I just let my emotions get to me. But since then, I try to stay calm the best I can. But there's definitely situations that, like looking back, some moments that happened this year that one guy slid in on me on this year's Toyota, and I didn't say a word to him, and I definitely should have. Looking back at it, I should have just been respectful about it and be like, "Look, man, like you weren't here. You were watching me catch him, and now you slid in on me. Like, come on, what are you doing?" So
sure,
just try to not say anything, and that turns out to be better more often than not. But there are times where, like, if someone's doing something that's not ethical, and like I could have reported them, taken a video. That's what my co-angler was saying. He was like, "Why don't you take a video and get them disqualified?" And like I could have, but it's like you're in a time crunch and you're fishing for that much money. You don't have time. You don't want to go pull out your phone and like be a snitch and start doing all that when you have to worry about catching as many fish as you can.
Be a snitch. Yeah.
Yeah. So that a few things on the water that's taught me to just stay as calm as I can. But it's not easy. I mean, you guys know how it is. There's a lot of variables and a lot of things that happen. So
I think it's the toughest sport to win, man. You've got your boat gear. You got your line, rod,
I don't
hook
know,
point,
Eric, how tough
hook
it
point,
is because
everything.
Dante's been winning every tournament the last, 3 months, it seems, which we're going to get into more. This is exciting stuff,
Just
man.
drift right through it, bro. DRT, bro. Come on,
Love
man.
it.
That's the
I
flow,
love it.
man. It's
I know. So who's your like regular team partner? Who are some of the guys you fish with now?
So Joe Foisey, I mentioned we started fishing the first year. The first tournament we did together was your tournament, I believe, and that was the first year I graduated. So I fished with Joe a lot, and then my buddy Liam Blake, I fished with him. He's from Syracuse as well. He's from Rochester, but he lives in Syracuse now. So I fished with Joe and Liam mostly, and fished a few. I fished a Tuesday nighter out. The summer I lived in Albany during college. I interned for GE, and I fished with Al Cavert. He's an older wise guy that's got some years under his belt. So I've learned some stuff from him.
Al Calvert he's from New York.
Yeah, he's from the Albany.
Yeah, he's got an old Gold Ranger with power poles on it.
Yeah, I think he got rid of that Ranger now, but he's in an older Ranger now. I think
He lives on Casiuna Lake.
Casiuna, that's the lake. Yeah,
I know Al. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do when you're like some of your partners like show up on your rocks that are yours and start fishing in tournaments?
They don't do that. I mean, the guys I fish with are great, man. Like
I'm joking. It's an inside joke. JP and I have a little rock.
Yeah, your rock deal. I think I heard about that.
Yeah. I had to say it, JP. Forgive me, bud. I know your feelings get hurt when I bring it up.
I ain't mad.
All right. Continue on. I thought it would be a good time to make fun of that, but I guess that was inappropriate.
Yeah, so TIO came in second, and then after that, I think there was a doubleheader in Cornwall, so that's on the res down past Messina.
Oh wow!
And I think we did I fished it. I didn't even practice for that one. It was blowing so hard. I was like, I'll just show up. I just know we needed to be in a top 30 basically just to qualify for the championship out of GAN, which I skipped that one, but we led that one day one last year and then came in third. So that one was another tough one. But Cornwall, I think we did like a 24th and an 11th. That place is you would think since it's the St. Lawrence that it like fishes the same as above the dam, but Travis, you've spent some time down there. Eric, I don't know if you have, but it's like it just fishes different. I don't know.
It's wild. It's interesting. I like it. I don't think it has. Do you believe it has the same type of weight that you can get up? Maybe it does. I don't know.
I don't. I know like in the spring and the fall it can go crazy, but I feel like in the summer there's guys that like are from there that have it dialed, and I'm sure there's guys that fish shallow. I think there's guys that fish shallow there that crush them, and there's guys that catch some crazy largemouth there. But like but from Messina to Clayton, like you can pull up in 30 feet and drag, and like you can run into like a 3 to a 5 pound fish, like a good percentage chance. But, like down there, it's almost like Bay of Quinte, where it's like just
right.
Just a ton of tiny fish. So that place is different. I don't really know what to think about it, but I mean, there's still big fish there. Like they live there, but I don't know what the reasoning behind it. If it's because there's a lot more current, but there's definitely some like places. I don't know what's it called, the Polly's Gut or something, where it's just crazy rapids with a ton of current just humming through there.
Yeah.
So the 24th, 11th there, and then the Toyota was in end of August, and I came in third there and made the long run. So that one I had circled on my calendar. I mean, I had my laptop password. The previous year I broke down coming back, and I didn't make it back. And I thought I was on good fish, and like zero, came in dead last. And then you got to live with it, wake up the next day, and keep doing what you're doing. So that one stung. So I had that one circled on my calendar this year. I made the long run, Clayton each day. That's a grueling run. Like,
oh yeah.
If you haven't done it before, it might sound easy. It's always you're just going for a boat ride. But when there's 150, 200 other guys like going next to you, and if you're a later boat number, like it's rougher ride down and time management.
I agree with you. It's there's a lot that can go wrong. I'm going to be honest. I think it's very inconvenient for the customer, which is us, to support an organization that wants to continue to go out of an area. And I'm not speaking for everyone, I'm sure, but I think the majority feel like we really don't like having it out of Messina. Maybe I'm wrong, but it would be nice if they could change some things up. What are your thoughts on that? Do you enjoy that?
Great question.
No,
Like, what
I
are your
mean,
thoughts on that, man?
I definitely don't enjoy the long run. I don't think anybody enjoys the long run, especially the guys that have done it, because it's just grueling for 3 days in a row to go that far in a boat and whatever wind conditions are there, boat traffic on the
Brutal.
weekends. Like, it definitely adds another element to the tournament because it's like you have to
Mhm.
literally drop the trolling motor and catch them immediately. And if you don't, like day 2 and day 3, I didn't catch a fish for the first 2 hours. So then your 4-hour window to catch them goes down to 2 hours to catch them. And then you're
Yeah.
like,
That's
I
tough.
need to catch 22 plus in 2 hours right now, and then get gas and then go back and then be on time. And then I have to do it for 2 more days or 1 more day or however many days it is. So like hats off to Casey for winning that thing. I mean, that is not an easy task, but day 1, I ran down, started on the Canadian side. I caught 2 4 and change right away. And I was like, all right, like I'm in good shape. Like caught him right. Like when you catch them right away, there's nothing better than that. But it rarely happens, it feels like. So then
Sure.
ran over to the US side, fished a couple holes, didn't really catch them. And I think I had 2 fish in the boat. And then at like 11 o'clock, I rolled up on a hole that I was kind of saving. I wanted to save it for later in the tournament because I knew it was kind of a sneak hole that not a lot of people, I never saw any boat there. And doesn't really look like it's a good bass hole. And I roll up there and catch 3 over 5 back to back to back.
Whoa.
And there was a boat like, I don't know, like 300 yards down. I don't really know how far. He was far. Like he was far enough to where he could see the net get pulled out, but
Mhm.
he wasn't fishing the same stuff at all. And I'm messing with I think I did have like a 3-pounder. I was calling one and then I was fizzing them. So I catch
Sure.
3, like bang, 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 and then I'm fizzing the one fish. My head's down, and then I look up, and this guy's just got a troll motor on 10. He's just like coming right at me.
Really?
And I was just like, oh no, like my mind just like flashed back to that first toilet
Right.
that I with that guy. And I was like, all right, like I have good weight now because now I had like all good fish. Like my smallest one was like a high 4, and I was like, all right, like I'm good. Like don't even say anything. Like he's not gonna catch him. Like in my head, I'm like, who's this guy? He's not gonna catch him. And I'm literally fizzing that fish, and I look up, and he catches an absolute tank right in front of me.
Really?
I was like, oh no, I don't want to see that. And I was like, all right, like maybe he got lucky. Like I
So
keep
now you
fishing.
gotta say something to this dude.
I know I really like that was one of my biggest regrets this year was not like guarding, like standing my ground really because
Yeah.
I should have said something because he had no. It was like 11 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't like it'd be one thing if we both started there first thing in the morning. Like I'm totally cool with sharing water with people. If we both found that hole and we're both sharing water, like that's a whole different story. But if
Yep.
you're fishing somewhere and someone watches you catch fish and then they slide in, it's like, come on, like you weren't planning on being there. Like if you knew what lived there, you would have started there first thing. And he didn't. So he
Sure.
slides in. I'm boat to boat. He caught it was like a 6-pounder. It was really big. I was like just pretended that I didn't want to see it. And
Yeah.
then he stuck him right in my face. And like I've fished boat to boat with you guys before, and like I usually end up on the better side of it. But like this time, like he put it right to me and caught 3 big ones back to back to back. And I was like,
Fish that you needed the next day.
I wanted to leave. That was the problem is I caught those 3 big ones and I was literally gonna fizz that one and leave. And I look at my co and I was like, you think this guy's gonna slide in? He's like, yeah, I mean, he just watched you catch 3 big ones. He's not gonna leave now. And then we were both to the point where like, if you get right next to someone's boat, you can get live scope interference and your screen starts like glaring out. It was like that. Right? We were
No
both
way, dude.
It was
Who's
almost
this
like
guy? What's his name?
it's,
Do
we know him?
So.
I don't know.
So.
I don't
Okay.
know. I don't think so.
All right. Okay.
So it was almost
We already
like,
had 1 blow up on this show, Travis. Don't go for 2. I'm gonna have to call that guy up too and get him on live and say, Travis is taking you down, bro.
Oh man.
It was almost like Rob on the green buoy on Carlton, where like we were both
Sure.
angled at the boat. It was like the same situation, but it was like obviously a lot different because we were just fishing the toilet. That wasn't for $100,000. But it was similar where we were both like I could see his bait fall on live scope, and I was just like, I
No
wanted
way,
to leave.
dude. For
I
real?
wanted to leave,
Are you
like, I had
kidding
to,
me?
like, I wanted
Dude,
to leave.
almost like I get it. I'd call this dude out. Screw him. This is ridiculous.
I
You
should
don't
have.
do that. You don't do that.
I know, but he ended up getting it back on day 3. I don't think he
Okay, let's hear.
he got it back. So I was like,
let's go.
I gotta guard this. I gotta protect it. And then I'm like kind of just moseying around, like trying not to catch him because like my smallest was like a high 4, so I knew I had a good bag and I wanted to save it for the rest of the tournament. But he
Sure.
was catching meat right in front of my face, so I ended up I stayed for like another hour longer than I wanted to, and I was like, all right, whatever. Like I'm not doing anything right now. Like I'm not playing defense. Like I just go back.
Was it like a stretch? Could you have like anchor locked where he shouldn't have been casting, or not really?
That's what I did. I kind of tried to spot lock and stay on one hole, but there ended up being another group that was like right next to him that he got on. So it was like
Okay.
there really wasn't any guarding. I kind of guarded right where I was on, and he was making an angled cast over to him. So like I was on top of where you needed to be to cast straight, but he was above me casting down, and it was calm enough where like those fish are so dumb there. They're so unpressured that like they bit. So I just called it quits, and I was like, I run back, and I was like, I know now I need to start there day 2 because he's gonna be there.
Yep.
So one back, I had one die on me, so I had 24-8 day 1, and I was in 9th. And yeah, so I don't the TIO when I said 9th, that wasn't it. This was for the Toyota. So I was in 9th day 1 with 24-8, and like the last however many Toyotas, it's always 22 a day to win, like every
Sure.
year.
Yeah. Yep.
And every year I tell myself, I'm like, all right, 22 a day, like that's so doable. And then I always think it's going to be more. And like this year, it was more, like by a lot. I think there was like, I don't know how many 25-pound bags, probably 6 or 7
Yeah.
of them.
Yep.
But weights were crazy high. So I was like, got to keep the foot on the gas. So I start there day 2, like boat race there. I get there. I knew I had an earlier boat number than him. So I get there and it's like almost not a morning spot. I've only caught him there from like 10 a.m. and on. And I was kind of scared going there in the morning if they weren't going to be there, weren't going to bite or whatever. But I get there and there was like, it was kind of empty. And I was like, oh dear. I had like,
Right.
10 to 15 minutes there alone before he showed up. And I knew he was going to go there. Like if you catch 25 pounds, why would you not start there in the morning? But like, also, why were you not there on day 1 earlier? Like,
Sure.
we both start there, kind of going boat to boat. Literally didn't say a single word. He gave me a head nod the morning at takeoff. And I was just
A head nod?
Give me
A
a
head
head
nod,
nod.
like,
Like,
Call this guy out.
The thing was, if you know you're doing something wrong, like if you think you're right, he should have said something. Like if I was in the wrong, like I obviously wasn't in the wrong, like he should have said something. But if he thought that he wasn't wrong, but it doesn't really matter. Start day 2, don't catch him. So this is the part of the run that like you need. That it's like this is the most difficult part. I start there, get there at like 8 something. And I fished there I was like, I can't leave here without a 5-pounder. And I literally burnt 2 hours there and had like a 1.5 pounder.
Did you
And
see the fish? Were they there or just not there?
they like weren't there. It was so weird. And there's a lot of walleye and a lot of drum there too. It's like, it's so similar to like the type of fish that live there to the green buoy at Carlton, where it's like there was so many walleye there, so many drum where you like almost have to cast at them all just to see what they do.
Yep.
Oh,
I
that's wild.
burnt 2 hours there in the morning, and then I was like, all right, now I got to scramble around for 23 in 2 hours. Like, this is not going to be easy. So I run even further up, go to a shallow spot, see like one fish didn't bite, and then hop back in, run back towards Clayton. And I pulled up on one shoal and caught like, I think I didn't even weigh them at the time, but I just knew they were between 4.5 and 5 pounds. I caught 3 of them like that right away. So I was like, all right, it's not over yet. And then I don't even remember where I went after that. I think I ran, got gas, and then I hopped back to the Canadian side, and then I plucked 2 more right towards the end. Like I needed to leave. Yeah, I didn't even have a limit yet. I had 3 in the boat, ran, got gas, and then ran back to the Canadian side, and I caught like a one pushing 4, and then my small one to fill. And then I had 4 fish, and I was like, I need to go. But I was like, I can't leave with 4 fish. So I pushed it to like the end and then caught like a two and change, I think. It was like it was short, but it was fat. And then back and weighed 22 and change. And then oh no, sorry. I made no, so yeah, I had 2 small ones. I run back and I stop in Waddington and I had like 7 minutes to fish. And I pulled up on a spot that I hadn't fished in 2 years, the head of the shoal, and I caught a 5-pounder with like literally 5 minutes to go. Like just a crazy. And the craziest thing about that run is like you're running back, you're doing the math. How much time do I have to stop and fish on what hole? And I'm just running. I'm like, all right, I have probably 7 minutes. I have like I don't know how many casts that is, but I was like, I don't have a lot of time. I can't go to 2 areas. I literally have enough for like 1 area, 1 stop, and whatever happens, happens. And there's like 100 different places that you could go. So it's 90% of tournament fishing is just decision making. But I pulled up on the right spot, made a crazy last second call, saved the day, going with like 22 and change, and then I think I moved up to 6. And then day 3 did the same. I was like, I told myself, I was like, that was the worst 2 hours of my life, like the most stressful 2 hours when you have no fish and you got to put it all together in 2 hours. So run back down, started where I caught those 3 5-pounders. Didn't even go to that hole with that other guy. I was like, I'm not even going back there. That place is just a trap. And then didn't catch him again in the morning. And it was a similar thing where it was like 10:30 and I had no fish. And I was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And then I ran up shallow and they were just loaded there. And I just busted them for like an hour and a half and caught no big ones. They were all like mid. I didn't even weigh any of them because it was just when you're with that much time, you're just scrambling just to get a limit. And I knew they were all over 4. You're just low 4s, pile of them. And then I ran back, started working my way back, and it was like 12:15. Go back to that hole where I started, where I caught them on day 1. And I think I jumped one off, and then I dropped another one. And like once you educate them and drop one, it's like kind of over. You just kind of got to keep going, especially with the time constraint. So I left there and then pulled up on a deep hole in like 40 foot. And it's kind of like it's a weird sneaky spot where it's just drum and bass and they just cruise. They're not sitting on anything. It's just like absolutely nothing on the map. And there was just drum and bass, and you just have to pitch at them and hope that it was a bass, basically. And I pitched at 1 and caught it at like 12:15 right before I had to go get back and get gas. And it was pushing 6. It was like 5 and it was like 5 5.75 6-pounder. So that one saved the day again, and then ran back, got gas, and had time for like another stop. I stopped for my co-angler. My co-angler was in second, or he was up there. So I felt bad. So he was asking to get another fish. So I stopped on a drift and had him get his 5th, and he ended up finishing in second. So it's tough when you're like you got a guy competing on the co-angler side. Like Artie's like, I'm in contention. I need to put myself first, but then there's also like the soft spot. And it's like this guy wants it too. Like, got to give him an opportunity. So I stopped.
Travis does that all the time, man. I mean, I've heard so many stories.
He had his opportunity all day. He wasn't able to fish properly. So don't catch your fish and win this tournament.
Yeah,
he had his. It's like amazing the similarities between you and Dante. Dante's being cool. You're all fired up. I mean, you get to know your co's on a first name basis. I'll ask Travis, who'd you fish with? I don't know, some chode. Anyway, keep going, Dante. What did he catch any fish? I don't care. What place did he come? Not sure.
My co-angler day 2 was actually awesome. He like barely he fished, but like he wasn't trying because he knew I was like up there.
That's
so
cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I respected that, and like not everyone's like that. I mean, other guys will be casting over your shoulder and getting in your way, and that's never fun. So
yeah.
Day 3 we run back and ended up coming in 3rd. But hats off to Casey, man. I mean, he smoked him. He won by 2 pounds, and I get on the stage and the guy put the mic in my face. He's like, "Is it going to be close? You need 25 pounds." And I haven't fished enough of these, and he's got his hand. I didn't see this, but he had his hand push on the bucket. And I didn't weigh any of my fish. I just knew I had 1 giant and like 4 that were over 4 or close to 4. And the screen's like 26, 27, 26, 27. And he's like,
he's pushing on it.
I didn't see his hand. So he's like, is it going to be close? I'm like, I think it's going to be close. And then like as soon as I said that, I saw his hand and then he lifted it off and it was like 23
Oh.
cents. Like,
Yeah, they do that.
he
That's
fooled me.
brutal.
He fooled me. I didn't think I had that much, but I'm like, I didn't weigh any of them. Like sometimes when you
Sure.
get down to the mouth, like those fish don't look that big, but when you weigh them, like they're just
Yeah.
It was
I've seen it go both ways, man. You put them in that basket, they look way huge than they did before, and then they shrunk. I mean, it's so crazy. Like what you think you have, unless you're really using above a scale, you know, if you're not in a hurry or you just use the culling beam, you know what I mean? Because I've done both with my tournament partner. It's crazy how your mindset changes when you get up there. It's nuts. Such a weird experience.
It's crazy.
Final
Those
day win.
lake fish just don't look that big, but they're just dense. I don't know what it is, if they're just denser than the other river fish or what, but like they're just
Yeah.
That was
They're
crazy.
engineered by those you know, Travis will tell you. He knows. I
Engineered
don't
by
want to
what?
talk about it. I don't want to talk about it tonight. You said don't mention it. Never mind. That's another show. All right, keep going, Dante.
All right. Anyway, so now we're at the Toyota series. We're in, what was that, August, and you had another
what'd you end up
tournament
in?
before this past weekend, right?
What'd you end up in, Dante?
Came in third place there. So I was like mostly like
great finish, dude.
Always want to win, but like I was like, you know what, like gotta be happy with that because that was I had that one circled on my calendar. So I was like we said, that run, that's no joke. So hats off to Casey. Like I didn't lose that one. Like Casey won that. He earned it.
I thought Brent Anderson was going to win it back to back, man. I know Brent, so I'm rooting for him. I saw your name pop up, so you know I'm like kind of know
You
him too.
rooting
He
for
beat
me,
our
Eric?
last. Well, after you fucked up day 2, no.
Day 1. Yeah.
That's what I meant. 15 pounds. I'm like,
he's super nice guy. I met him talking to him at the weigh-in line. I never talked to him before, and he obviously won last year. So yeah, he's super nice.
Yeah, he's super nice. He's super
friendly.
cool.
So yeah, Toyota came in third, and then championship was the week before the Empire, and it was the same thing, blowing 40, and then we had like 1689, had a dead one, so it was like 1639. We were in 18th after day 1, and then day 2 they closed the lake, so we stayed in. It was like biggest waves I'd ever seen. I went out there day 1, and it was just a mess out there. So we were in 18th day 1, and then we caught like 18 and a half for these are the 4 fish limits, and then like 18 and a half for 4, moved up. It was a little crazy weigh-in. They locked the screen at 18.5 and then announced it, said 18.5, and then the paper printed out 18.4, asked if we wanted to reweigh. We said yeah, came out 18.26. So then we ended up coming in. Lost a quarter pound over a reweigh, which is pretty crazy, but we ended up coming in 5th instead of 3rd. But I mean, it is what it is. So finished up there, and then next weekend was the Empire out of Cape Vincent. Fished that one with Liam. That was crazy weight. We had 27.9 day 1, and then 29 and change day 2. And we don't get many days like glass with sun on the lake. So that was like,
I assume you took advantage of those conditions, basically.
Yeah. We went out in the lake that day, and we had a ball. That was a great day of fishing. But it was like crazy because it's the same 1 week. Like there was literally 8 to 10 foot waves out there. It was blowing like 30 to 40 knots. I don't know if you remember that weekend before, but it was
I wasn't out that weekend. It was nuts.
Pouring rain. Oh, it was gross. So yeah, Empire, we put up some weight for that one. That was a crazy fun tournament. And
that was wild. We'll talk about that tournament real quick because I fished that one and we got stuck into just catching fish that day and not, hoping for a big bite, but I can't tell you how many 4 to 4 6s we caught that day. It was nuts. Were they biting for you that good too?
Yeah, we wore him out that day. That was one of the best. That still might be the best bass fishing day I've ever had, of just numbers and weight combined. I mean, some days it's like you catch a ton of numbers and you don't catch a lot of weight. Some days you catch not a lot of fish and you catch a lot of weight. But that day was like, you couldn't have asked for better conditions. It was just like, this year was a lot of second, third, second, third. And that time, when it's your time, it's your time. But that was a great weekend. And shout out to Jody White. JP was working or something, but Jody went and did that one alone, and he got him too. But Jody's
Yeah,
super
on paper, it looks like JP actually put that bag together too, because I see his name in the standings, which
No,
kind of upsets me because JP and
public-
I were supposed
it
to
was
fish
public
that
info-
tournament.
It was public information. It was my son's birthday, and I wasn't missing my son's birthday.
Okay.
Yeah, Chad, we've been
respect
over
to
that.
that. Respect to that, JP.
What's that?
Respect to that.
Respect.
Thank you.
Me
Yeah.
too.
Do you think we could fish again, JP, in the future, or are you done with me? You want me
Yeah,
to fish
next-
with 12-pound Tommy the rest of my life?
next year we gotta schedule? You have to say yes to the tournaments
Okay.
more than a week in advance.
Okay.
Okay.
So Dante, when you fish these team tournaments, bro, what's your partner doing to add to the bag if you're predominantly scoping?
It's not easy, but
Yeah, have you worked it out like a two-man system?
we got a good system. I mean, whether it's Joe or Liam, I mean, they're head down the whole time, like doing just as much as I'm doing, casting out.
Interesting.
Just if your partner's a fierce competitor, then they're gonna cast as much as they can. Because like what we talk about is like if the guy not on the troll motor can weigh 1 or 2 fish, then you have a good shot at winning. So
I agree.
I mean,
I fish a lot of team tournaments. I'm right there with you, man. But we don't do it a lot of scoping. We're more power dirt divers. I'm not saying we've never done it. We use the active target. I bought live scope for our first team championship, and it threw us off our power game. But nonetheless, yeah, I feel you, man. If that's how I feel. Scooter runs the front, I stay in the back, and if I can add 1, 2 to the bag, man, and I'm generally doing something different. If it's power and they're biting power, man, I'm matching the power, and we're just fanatical about it, covering a lot of water.
100%. And like I said, yeah, if you catch 1 or 2 away, like you got a good shot at it. But like they've caught multiple fish over 6 pounds that they put in the boat this year. So it's not all just a man running a troll motor. I mean, they've caught some meat that
when you fish with
right.
Travis, you just have to realize that when you're fishing a spawning event, you get to catch all the fish because he lets you do that because he likes to flog. And then when summertime comes and it's time to scope, know your role and grab the net and be happy with it. And that's perfectly fine because, man, last spring I caught so many giant fish when we were fishing in bedding tournaments. It was so much fun.
Yeah. You guys have worked it out. Sounds like you guys have a good 2025 season ahead of you. I'm not so sure quite yet because I'm reading his body language. Travis is like, "Are you done with me yet?" But that's not the sign of a healthy team. You guys got some work to do with your relationship.
JP's got my back, man.
Yeah, he does.
I think we're going to be fine. We just got to plan ahead. It's not easy. I shouldn't say this. It's not easy to find all the tournaments that are going on. Unless you know, Dante, I don't know how you find out like what is scheduled quickly in advance that we can get stuff. Like, is there a website that you can look up?
It's called the internet, bud.
I know that, but
no, there's no. I thought you were gonna say it's not easy to have one man on the troll motor, but I mean, I was gonna say that before.
It's not easy finding out when tournaments are up here.
I would just like to say real quick. I don't mean to take away from Dante's moment here, but the Empire Team
this is
Bass
all about
Trail,
the 9-1.
The Empire Team Bass Trail is straight up hammers, right? They only draw maybe 27 boats, right? But they're straight hammers. And Jody White and I won the one on Oneida. And then I went to Cayuga and sacked up 22 pounds by myself because Jody had to work, right? And finished 11th. And then Jody took 4th in that one. So we are leading angler of the year going into Lake Erie on October, whatever it is. So we legitimately have a shot at going to the Bassmaster Team.
Oh, you're not fishing that tournament in October with me on the St. Lawrence?
Probably not.
I hate to break it to you publicly, bud, on Smallmouth Crush, but nope.
We need to talk tomorrow, bud.
Yeah, this will be like the 10th talk in the last 12 months.
So how do you find out? Anyways, my problem is I don't get it. You know, there's nothing you can find out tournaments ahead of time. I do have to guide as well, so I do have to schedule people. I hate, you know, if I don't know, I'd rather fish a tournament than guide. But if I have someone booked that Saturday, you know, it's hard to like sometimes switch them around or ask them. But there's just no easy way to do it. I honestly think people complain about the tournaments. Like, I don't know. I don't, but
there's no secret.
I think we need more. I think we need more.
There's no website. There's no website or anything. I mean, I see most of them just posted on Instagram and it's. I mean, there's the cash-ins.
Yeah.
Douglas's didn't come back this year.
Yep.
The Empire JP talked about the Thayer's Marine.
They're done. Yeah.
They're
Canceled.
done. So it's like dwindled down to. There's the Canadian trail that I fish, and then there's like Thousand Island Open. So there's like the few, like when I look at the year, I mean, there's a few big ones that we like circle a calendar for, like Toyota.
I guess I wouldn't mind being able to enter some type of tournament or have the potential to fish every weekend up here because it's
You
such
would
a short
think,
season.
right?
They do it all over down south. There's 3 tournaments a weekend to pick.
Isn't that
That's the
weird? And it's
thing.
such a great fishery. I mean, holy crikey. You got a 9-1 smallie. They just broke the largemouth state record. It's throwing off 25-pound bags like it's nothing. I don't get it.
Yeah.
What is it about New York?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, the short season, like you said, like it's tough.
That
Like
might be it.
I'll work a 9 to 5 for 5 days a week unless there's a derb. I'll try to fish that Friday before, but it's like such a short season. Every weekend there's something going on. So it's like I don't know, 12 weekends a year or something maybe, but it's like
Yeah.
June's spawn. Like I won't really fish during the spawn, and then I'll start fishing in like July. So you got like July to end of September. So it's 3 months of 3 months, 4 weekends a year.
That ain't a lot. You're right, Dante. That's not a
It
lot. I didn't
happens
think about
quick.
it that
Like, you
way.
blink,
It's a
you blink
short
and it's
season.
over. It's super short.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
And then
but
if
that's
you got
why-
guys fishing like opens or BFLs, that's going to take them out of state, right? So you're sucking that angler base that wants to fish that
Right.
East Coast division, if you will. You know,
Yeah.
so it dwindles it down, man. It doesn't have the base that the South does in the 12 months. But what a fishery! But dude,
Oh,
you're
no.
on here to talk about the 9-1.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
sorry,
get-
man.
This is
I
good.
mean,
Here.
let's get to the topic of the
All right,
meeting.
hold on,
I
Eric.
don't
I don't
want
want to miss
I don't want to skip it.
Eric, I gotta-
Go.
Eric, I got to step away for a minute and a half. Okay. So you carry
All
the
right.
show, but don't get into it just yet. Okay.
I won't. I'll hold them off. I'll say one more thing that I want to bring up that frustrates me about the tournaments. A lot of tournaments
it.
overlap each other.
Go, Traps. Go. Travis,
A lot of
I'll
tournaments-
I'll coordinate this.
A lot of tournaments overlap each other, and then they wonder why they get 20 or 30 boats signed up when it's like there's 3 tournaments
Absolutely.
going on Oneida, the River, Champlain, or wherever it is. So like if
Right.
I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy to coordinate and set up tournaments. Like it's impossible. It's an impossible ask.
No,
but,
look, I remember when I was with the club, man, it was like, a club, Skeeter Owners Club, right? And it was
Yeah.
like we would wait for all the regional tournaments to set and other
Yeah.
bigger clubs and then try to pick dates where everybody could participate because there were guys that wanted to fish BFLs, whatever it was locally, right? Or regionally, so they didn't step on each other. So it's tough. It ain't easy. That's a fact. Yeah. So tell me about that sign behind you, dude. I've been wondering about it. I mean, Drift Right Through was my take on it. It says Deep River Technologies.
So Deep River Technologies is a company my buddies and I started this past summer. Ethan, the guy I mentioned who went down and picked my boat up with me in Kentucky.
Yep.
We install electronics on any type of boat basically, and troubleshooting and trolling motor graphs, anything electronic that goes on a boat, we install or fix it. So we've done some crazy installs this year. I think one of the bigger ones, we rigged out a yellowfin with like dual LVS 34 on the jack
Holy
plate.
moly. Oh my God.
Put on a Kraken and 8612s and top of the line everything. So and then we'll put on a transducer on a 14-foot hand tiller aluminum boat. So it's like,
dude, I love it. Where are you out of?
Out of Clayton. We rent
New York.
shop space. Yep, we rent a shop space right in Clayton, and this was our first year doing it. This was our first year doing it, and it did pretty well. So we're gonna continue on with it and see what comes of it.
Man, that's fantastic. It's
it keeps
New York
us busy.
and Clayton. Yeah, I was about to say, right? 9 to 5 and fishing.
Yeah. So if anyone, I never even finished trolling motor battery story, but anyways, I ended up getting a lithium battery, so now my trolling motor's all good. So
what lithium brand did you go with?
Powerhouse.
Powerhouse.
I'm running 2 Powerhouse batteries, one for my dedicated electronics, and then, I'm running 3. I'm running 2 36 60 amp hour for my trolling motor. And
I got you.
Just a quick recap for guys that are just joining us. We got quite a bunch of live viewers tonight, so we appreciate the support. JP probably left the building. That's how he rolls. He doesn't say goodbye. He just kind of disappears.
He
goes
just
up late.
just pushes to the end.
We're gonna have a talk next season of Smallmouth Crush Live. We're gonna get a more, I don't like it. I don't like how he just disappears.
Yeah, neither do I. You got to,
Look,
he's
so you
guys.
probably had
I'm
him one day at
signing off.
work.
he
You
might
probably
pop.
let-
We never know. We never know.
Yeah, sometimes he does, but it's okay
Yeah.
to just go, dudes.
He's
I'm
on the
signing
phone
off.
with Jody right now, planning their freaking 2025 season. Or whatever, so whatever. Let him do his thing. I'll be fine.
You're a grown
Let me
man.
add-
You'll be
Let
fine.
me add one quick thing about DRT before we get into it. We are
Yeah.
a powerhouse. We are a powerhouse dealer, precision sonar
Okay.
dealer. So we have a bunch. We sell all Nakota, Lowrance, Garmin. So any gear, if anyone looking to get any work done on their boat, we're closer than. There's not a lot of other places to bring your boat. I know guys have driven
Yeah.
all over the place to bring their boat. So if you're in the need for some boat work, come see us up in Clayton.
Right on, man. I asked him about the DRT, Deep River Technologies behind him, Travis. So he gave me a
Right.
little talk about what the new company is, and things are going
Sure.
good. He talked about a crazy rig up on a yellowfin boat, man. It was like 2 LVS. What were they? 832s? I don't know. The saltwater units. God, on the jack plate, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the 234s on the jack plate, and then we put an 8612 in for him, and then a Kraken up front. Like, guy just got his boat rigged to the ceiling. So there's a couple boats that we did just.
What is the Kraken? Release the Kraken. What is that? I've seen it in the movies.
It's a Garmin troll motor.
The Kraken is the new trolling motor?
It's a Garmin, yeah. It's one of
Never
the
heard
there's
of
the
it.
Garmin Force, and then there's a Garmin Kraken. I believe I think it's got a longer shaft for bigger boats.
Like saltwater dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's it's on a yellowfin boat, so he brings that boat to Florida as well, but it's just
I was about to say.
for big boats.
Very cool.
Basically. Yeah.
Nice, man. Garmin monstrosity. Nice.
All
All
right.
right.
Let's talk about the big news of the week.
Yes,
I know there's.
but
I know this is going to be. This is an interesting whole deal that we're going to listen to. Because it's not official, and I'd love to hear that story.
Right.
Yep.
And
Pending.
why it wasn't. And I'm a little
Yeah.
frustrated with that. So
yeah.
let's just start with the tournament, what it was, and let's talk about your practice, how you prepared for it, what you were expecting. Go through that. We'll get to the big fish story, but let's set it up first.
So
Yeah,
this
great setup.
week, it's the New York Bass Nation Federation, and there's three tournaments throughout the year. The first one was Ticonderoga in June. I came in 24th. So they take basically the reason why these guys are doing it is they take the top 6 guys,
State team.
and the state team, exactly. So it's points, weight, top 3 guys in points, top 2 guys in weight. I was in 24th after the first day. This past week, I spent the week up at Clarkson for the career fair for my company, TRC. My boss asked me to go there, and I was like, all right, we'll spend the week up there. And I came back on Thursday night and then just practiced on Friday morning, but we had to be in Ogdensburg from 3 to 5 for the meeting. So I really had a short day of practice on Friday, and I ran around, didn't find much for the first couple hours, and I was like troll motor on 10, just like my grandfather loves walleye, so he was asking me to bring some walleye up to him, and I knew I had to stop. I didn't have a lot of time. I had to get off the water, run back to the house, grab frozen walleye, bring that up, and still make it in time for the meeting. I was like, I felt rushed all day, and I was just checking stuff quick, and
Dang.
I just kind of rushed through it. I found one hole that I didn't fish here all year. It was a totally new area, and I knew the wind was blowing south, so the lake was like kind of iffy, but there was places to hide if you went out there. So I caught a few small fish that day, and then I rolled into one hole, and I caught a 5 1/4, but it looked empty, so I didn't get excited about it. I was like, all right, like there's not much going on there. It was probably just a random lucky fish. And then moved a little bit further down, and then caught another 5 1/4, but it was still like nothing with it. I was like, all right, like that. Usually when you catch one, you want to see a pile of them. So didn't really think much of it. I was like, all right, I'll keep this in my back pocket if I like am really falling behind, and like I might come poke this, but not really planning on going there. So day 1, I ran all my stuff from the Toyota and didn't catch them. Like I had a few like eat and then spit it out like as I went to hook them, like just short striking it, and then jumped one, but like didn't matter. I just wasn't on them that day. I just like wasn't my day. I weighed 21.08 and I was in like 13th day one. Or yeah, so it's 3 tournaments. This was the second tournament. I was in 24th after Ticonderoga. So
Yep.
then I was in 13th, and I get back to the house. I was staying with my buddy Liam, and I was like, all right, like what do you think it's gonna take for me to get in? Because he was up there. He caught him. He caught like 24.5. So he was up there. He was not locked in, but he was like pretty much close to being there. If he caught another 24 and change, then he was going to be in the top 6. So he was like, you're going to need 28 to 30. So I was like, all right, like
Wow.
I literally didn't know where I was going to go when I was driving to take off. I told him I was going to go somewhere else, and I didn't end up going there. It was just a crazy. I was literally just driving the boat. I was like, all right, God, like, please steer this boat. Like, do I take a right or do I take a left? And I like hit a
Oh,
left and
shit.
ran up the left, and I fished around Cape, and I got, so I'll back up. When I was in practice and I caught that 5 1/4, I panned to the left, and there was a little ball of them, and I threw out, and they all like swam to the bottom after my bait. And then I just like burned it up and reeled it away. I was like, all right, I don't need to catch these. Like, they look big. Like, I'll be good. Like, I'll just come, because when you catch one, they get smarter, and then they're harder to catch the next day in the tournament. So if you can avoid catching them, then you're good. But also can burn you. Like in Thai, I got burned by like shaking them off and not seeing how big they are. So day 2, I pull up there. I start on that little ball of them, and I catch 2 pounders like right away, and I was like, oh no, like they were all the same size on the screen. So then I was like, as soon as one was 2 pounds, I was like, they're all 2 pounds, because they all look the exact same on scope. I was like, oh gosh, like this was the wrong move. And then I'm like second guessing myself. I'm like looking at the lake. I'm like, oh, should I run out there? Should I do it? Should I do it? And then I was like, all right, let me just wait for it to lay down a little bit, because it was saying it was going to lay down later. So I was like, let me just lay down for like another 20 minutes. I'll just keep covering water. And like I said, I fished here for like 30 seconds in practice. So I didn't really know the area that well. I've never been there. And it was like, I don't know, 8:30 to 9. I think it was close to 9, because it was like I caught those 2 pounders, threw them in the box. And then I saw this fish on scope, like I think it was close. Like usually they don't eat when they're that close, but I mean it was like 40, it's like 40 feet out, and I was deep. Like I was throwing a Ned rig with a Berkeley flat nose minnow on it, and I flipped out to it. And a lot of times you gotta like hit them specifically. If you like drag it to them, sometimes they won't want it. You kind of gotta like hit them right on the head sometimes. So I hit him, but he didn't look that big, and it didn't. I almost didn't pitch at it because it didn't look big, but it literally must have been facing towards me in my scope in my transducer, because I almost like troll motored by it and was like, God, it's not big.
That's so
Perfect.
crazy.
And I flipped at it, and it went right, that nose right down on it and ate it and hooked it, and I'm fighting it. I'm like, all right, like it's a good one. It's 6 pounder, and I'm fighting it, like letting it do its thing. And then I didn't have a co-angler that day. I had a co-angler the day before, and so I was alone. And I had got the net out, unstrapped it, and I like got the net ready next to the boat. And it really didn't even look like, I didn't even think it was that big. I mean, it was dog. It would come up to the top, then swim all the way back down. Come up to the top, swim all the way back down. So it was like it was fighting like a giant one. But I just assumed it was just a 6 pounder. Some of them just fight like crazy, and it's so hard to gauge how big they are. So I scoop it in the net after like, I mean, it tired me out. It was definitely like, I don't know how long it is. You always see you fight a fish for a while, but in the grand scheme of things, you really don't fight them that long. So I get in the net. I'm like, oh yeah, that's all 6. And then I go to lift, like I'm right-handed, so I'm netted it in my left hand, and I go to lift up the net, and like I'm not a big guy, so I go to lift it in the boat, and I was like, dang, like this thing's heavy, like it might go 7. And then I flip it on the deck, and then like worked it, and then I put it on the floor, like by the seat, and I was like looking at it, I was like, oh, that's 7 all day. And then when I grabbed its lips, like its lips were swollen, like they were just, when you catch a giant one, like their lips, I don't know why, but it's like I just feel like their lips are so much thicker than any other fish. Like it's weird, and it sounds dumb saying it, but like when I grabbed it to go put it on the scale, I was just like, holy shit, this thing's
Right.
and I fizzed it first thing, and then when I really realized it was like whenever you go to put a fish in the live well, like your live wells, it's a regular square, and it's like every fish you go to put in there, if you lay it down to fizz it, you can see it how big it is laying over the live well lid. And I
Yeah.
put it on the live well lid, and it was like literally bigger than the whole square. And like I caught a fair amount of fish this year, and none of them came close to covering that much of the live well square. And then I knew it was a giant, and I fizzed it and then put it right in the box, and I was just like, wow. Like then instantly I didn't even like the record didn't even like cross my mind at all. I was like, it's a giant, but like my mind was only focused on trying to catch 30 because I was in 24th in points. I need to be top 6. So I was like,
Sure.
I'm sitting on 2-pounders and 1 giant, and it's like I'm running from Ogdensburg. I was the last boat. I took my time putting there. I putted like 45 the whole way down. And because it was blowing east that morning, so it took me a while to get there. I was just putting, taking my time. I was like, I'll get there when I get there, because I beat my stuff up the day before. I hit a barge wave that morning, and it flipped my graph upside down. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna take my time. I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. So I get there, put that in the box. I'm just like, wow, like I don't know what to do right now. Like, because I was gonna leave. I was just waiting for the lake to lay down. I was like, I'm gonna go run out there. So now I'm like, now what do I do? I need to go put 4 giants with this thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, you see a lot of times people will catch a giant and then not have anything to go with it. So I was like, I don't want to lay up like that. So I was like, all right, I'll give it another 20 minutes here. I'll see what lives here, because I'm literally learning this area as I'm here. I've only spent 30 seconds there in practice. So I'm like learning the area. It's big, flat, and I'm like working my way around, like all new lines. Just like don't know if I should stay in that one area, if it was like one thing that was holding there, if it was just like I didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't even know what's going on right now. So then I moved down a little bit and then see another big mark. I flip at it, catch it, and it was like 6 1/4. That one jumped all the way out the water, and I was like, that
Wow.
one got that one.
Holy moly.
Then I was like, it might go down. Like, this is crazy. I was like, I can't leave now. And then I stuck it
Yeah,
out there.
15 pounds with 2, but you don't know that. That's
Yeah,
crazy to think about.
yeah, it was crazy. I was like, because then I'm like wanting to go to the lake this whole time. I'm like staring at it. Now it's like laying down. I'm like, oh gosh, like it's just staring at me. I'm like, I should just go out there and like, a few holes. You can just go catch 4.5 pounders. Like it's nothing. Like fill the bag and then go back early and call it a day. But I was like, why? How dumb would it be to leave a 9 and a 6 and change? Like, why would you not stay there? So
Sure.
but it was such a weird thing, because it's like they weren't sitting on one spot. They were all roaming, and they weren't holding on anything. They were all just moving. And it was like you'd catch one or see one like every 20 minutes. Like it wasn't bang, bang, bang. It was like played with your head so bad, because you go 20 minutes without seeing one. You're like, all right, I need to go get around some fish. Like a one cast. This is a boulder, one's sitting behind it, or there's 5 sitting behind it. I'm gonna make this cast and catch one. It was not that at all. So it was like gut wrenching to stay there. It sounds dumb, but it was like I wanted to leave, because I was like, I know there's other places that I could feel like I could catch them easier than this on the
Sure.
lake. I stuck it out, and then another 25 minutes goes by, and then I caught a 5 3/4. It was like bouncing like high 5 and 5 3/4. And then I was like, all right. So
You're still on the flat when you caught the 5 3/4.
yeah,
You're
I
shallow
stayed
at
in
this
the
point.
same, yeah, didn't even crank the big motor. I stayed on this flat the whole time. And then at this point, I had the 9, a 1/6, a high 5, and then I had those two pounders
Two
in the bowl.
pounders. Yeah.
I did before that. I had a 12-incher, like a baby, that I culled for that high 5. I don't even know why I put it in the box, but I was like, just in case something crazy happens. Like I
Yeah,
usually,
you never know.
my co-angler day one was giving me shit, because I threw back like I don't know, like a 3-pounder in the morning, like first thing. And he's
Yeah.
like, you do not just do that. And he was like, it's not worth the risk. And Travis, I'm sure you do the same thing. It's not worth the risk of keeping a dead one. I
Yeah.
tried.
Yeah, what if he dies? You're right.
But at the same time, you got to listen. Here's my theory now. That used to be my deal. I
Yeah, that
wouldn't
was your
keep
MO.
anything
Throw
under
'em
4
back. That's
pounds.
exactly right.
That
Yep.
thing's going back in the water. But hear me out.
You did. Talk to
If you
us.
catch 6, which is doable, if you catch 6 4-pounders, right? Or 4
24.
6-pounders, you're
Yeah.
gonna wish you had that 3-pounder in the live well at times.
Yeah.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense now?
That's
So
27.
I'm things have changed. Dude, it used to be, I mean, 4, 5, 6 years ago, I don't know. And I want to talk to you maybe after the story, like the health of the fishery and what your thoughts are. But,
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
I'd love to talk
22,
about
23
that.
pounds, you had a
Yeah.
chance at maybe winning the tournament that day.
For sure.
And now
Yeah.
it's not like that anymore.
No, I'll definitely touch on that after. But so I had those two babies in the boat still, and I was like, now my mind's racing. I'm like, I just got to get to 30. Like, I need the smallest one in the boat has to be 5 pounds, and then I just stuck it out there. Another half hour went by, and I'm like, I need to leave, but like I can't leave, and it was just like back and forth, and then I caught a mid 5. Called out the
Oh,
one.
man.
I called a 2-pounder, but I beamed them, and they were literally a straight beam, and I was like, "What the heck?" So I weighed one just to see, and they were both 3 pounds 10 ounces. Like I was calling them they were 2-pounders in my head because they
Right.
literally looked like 2-pounders. And when you're I don't know when you're out there, just those lake fish
Yep.
weigh heavy. The mouth lake fish, they're all the same. They all weigh heavy. So I made that one call, and then and then it was like noon, and my goal is like lead by like 1, and then I cranked the big motor, slid over a little bit to that other place where I caught a 5 1/4 in practice, where I didn't fish there ever before. Slid in there, caught a 4, made a called out at 310, and then I knew I was like knocking on the door at 30 with that 4, and then I kept going down, had a couple boulders that I had marked, and then I plucked it was bouncing between 5 1/4 and 5.5 on the scale. And then I knew that one got me well over 30. And then I was like,
Hell yeah.
yeah, I felt good after that one. Because I was like, it sounds dumb, but after catching that big one first thing, like it made for such a stressful day. Because
I
like
can't even imagine.
Sure.
you can't come in with nothing with a fish that big, because then it's like
No. Can you imagine how embarrassing that would be? A 9-1 potential New
Yeah.
York State record. And they got 4
Exactly.
2-pounders to go with it. Yeah, lucky. Yeah, bud. You just got lucky.
Exactly. It's like you get a thanks for coming. So
Don't even go weigh in. Just, weigh the record in.
yeah, seriously. And the record didn't even cross my mind. Like I was like, oh, it's a big fish. I didn't, like Travis, you were saying earlier, I didn't even know what the record was. I knew
Sure.
that I knew it was from Cayuga, and I knew it was a giant, but I didn't know the exact weight of it at all.
So that broke the Cayuga record. So the Cayuga record was what, 8 and something?
I don't know for sure, but I heard someone told me it was 8 pounds and 6 ounces. But like that
That's
fish,
what I was thinking. 8,
that
6.
fish, nothing to like discredit the guy who caught that, but I know
Yeah.
from multiple people that have said that fish got caught like multiple times, which is crazy. I mean, that's
Yeah.
even crazier to think
Yeah.
about.
that's just nuts. Nothing to discredit that guy at all. Like that's still an insane giant smallmouth. Like that's wild.
Yeah,
But,
Cayuga was like largemouth and smallmouth there for a minute. You
yeah,
just broke it.
that place
Pending.
is special.
So,
So
is this the part where we get to the pending, or do you weigh it in at the tournament first? Was it on the
so I
scales?
get back.
The
So I,
derby? Like, keep going, bro.
so I left at like 1. There was like one more area. A skiff boat pulled in with a net, and I was like, "Oh dear!" But then they all just like hopped off the boat and started swimming around, like snorkeling. And they're like, "Look at all the fish!" Blah, blah, blah. Like, didn't really matter. So I was like, didn't really care. So I left.
What did you just
Yeah.
say? People were like, "Look out, fish!"
Yeah, they were like, "Look at all these fish." They were snorkeling. I thought they were going to be fishing,
Oh,
but they
wow.
all jumped off the boat and they were swimming around.
What?
And it was like, I don't know what they were doing, but it didn't.
Travis, I don't know if you could share it, but look at that fish. It's as big as
I
Dante's
see.
body.
I see.
It's as big as his chest. That's
Yes.
a crazy bass right there.
Yeah, it was.
Anyway,
it was-
keep going, man.
So I run back. I stopped on one more hole on a boulder that we found a few weeks ago that we saw one fish on, and then I casted, came out. It bit, but I just dropped it, and then I was like, "What am I doing? Like, I just need to go back. Like, I'm pushing it for no reason. Like, just go back." So I'm putting back like 45, and then I wasn't gonna get gas. I was like, I'll just cruise 45 the whole way back. I got like it was 2 o'clock, and I was like, I got
You
an
didn't
hour.
fill up from Ogdensburg to Cape?
I wasn't. I went 45 mile an hour the whole way there.
Okay. All right.
So I was looking at the gas tank. I'm like, I was planning to fill up, but I was like, I'm gonna just putt my way back. Then like, I don't know, like, why not just make it back? Because I think it only took me like a little over. I had like a little over half when I got there. So I was like,
Sure.
I'll be able to make it back. But I'm like, I'm cutting it close. Like, so I hit a Yui and got gas because like I rode for like 10 minutes, and all that was on my mind was like, I'm gonna run out of gas.
Right.
Oh
And
God,
I'm
that's
I was
scary,
like, I
dude. Can you
can't do that.
imagine if you run out of gas with a 9-1 later? You
Yeah.
learn it's a 9-1.
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
get the way in.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
couldn't live
God,
with it.
dude.
I couldn't live
Oh
with it. So
no,
the
you
ship
did a
was
Yui.
well, a ship was going by, and I was like, in order for me to go get gas, like I'm gonna have to go. I was planning on like going the back door and going around them, and then going right back from there. And I was just
Like one of them
literally
super
my
tankers.
eyes just locked. My eyes were just locked on the gas tank for like 10 minutes when I was driving back from Cape, and I'm just like, I have another hour and a half to get back. Do I really want to be staring at the gas tank for an hour and a half, like hoping that it doesn't hit E? I'm like, why am I
No
stressing
way,
myself
dude.
out right now? So I hit a
Go
Yui,
get gas. Good
go get
decision.
gas. I pull up to the gas dock, and the guy's like, "How's it going?" I was like, "I'm a little bit of a time crunch right now, like, because I was pushing it for some reason. I don't know. I was doing the math wrong in my head. I've done that run a few times now, and I should have known like how long it takes me to get there. But it's different whenever you're going wide open, whenever you're
Sure.
going wide open, and whenever there's an east wind, because like it kind of got big in Brockville, and I wasn't really
Yeah,
expecting
dude.
it to.
You're burning
It
more
usually
gas,
doesn't.
man. Current will play that. Yeah.
It's stacked up like right in Brockville, but like where it necks down, like not even in Chippewa where it's wide. So like I would expect it to be bigger out there, but it was like right when you neck down was from the previous day, and then that morning getting there was rough. But the wind ended up laying down, so I went got gas. The
So
gas
how
guys.
much did you actually put in, man? Like, dude, like were you
I put
like, was it a
in.
good move?
Yeah, I mean, it allowed. I basically was like, I can either go 45 the whole way home, but I can't pin it. 'Cause if I pin it, I'm gonna run out of gas. I thought, like in my
Yeah.
head. So I was like, if I go get gas, it'll take me another like 10, 15 minutes maybe to deal with all the boat traffic right in front of Clayton. And then if I get gas, then I can just pin it the whole way and I'll be fine. But
Yeah.
I was like, I want to just take it easy. So I went, got gas. Gas stock guy was like, how's it going, man? I was like, good, like a little bit of time crunch here. And he's like, oh, I'll get you right quick. He's like, how's your day going? I was like, good. Like, I think I got a big one in here. He's like, really? He's like, how big is it? I was like, it's pushing 9. He was like, it's pushing what? He couldn't believe it. He was like, show me it, show me it. I was like, not right
No,
now.
dude.
I was like,
No,
let me.
don't let that fish jump out, man. Keep that light
No,
on.
dude.
I was like, let me
I
put
had
some.
Dude, I
I was
had
like,
the
let me
real
put
quick
some.
story for me. Like my
Okay.
second tournament in a club. I'm leading the tournament. This club got together for lunch on the lake, right? So the angler of the year leading in points. I'm the rookie. He goes, and I'm fishing with the angler of the year. He's a Skip was his name. He was a male guy. And he goes, Eric's got a giant in there. It was like a 5.5. And it was like, this pond did not. We were fishing Parker's Pond on the Eastern Shore. And this pond did not have 5-pounders in it. Caught him on a spinnerbait, slow rolling in the spring. And he goes, I'll show you. He grabs my fish out of the live well, holds it up. It goes, whoa, and freaking hits the side of the boat and dumps in. Gone. I didn't get to weigh the fish in. That was the W and big fish.
Bro, I had
And
co-anglers open my live wells.
Dude, I think he did it on
Doesn't happen.
purpose, Travis. He didn't like the rookie beating his ass behind him like the first time I came into the club. Yeah, I think he lost that fish on. He's a mailman. He was like beefy, dude. Skip. Anyway, Dante, I'm glad you didn't open live well for the gas.
Maybe he did.
Oh, that's tragic. That's unreal.
Dude, it was bad, man. I was pissed, man. I'm like, that was a good lesson in bass fishing. As a new guy in a club, don't let anybody touch your fish. I should have said no. God, don't open that live well. No fucking way you're showing my fish. I never let anybody do that again. Trust me, bro.
You gotta put locks on them. I would have been hot.
That was horrific. Anyway, horrific. All right, so you got the gas. He hooked
Got
you up.
the
He got
gas.
you out quick.
I did pull it out because I was like, there was a kid there too, and he was like, "Let me see it." I was like, "Let me get gas in the boat, and then I'll show you it." Because it was, I mean, it was calmed down. Like that fish, I caught it early, so it was fine. It was on there, so I grabbed it. 2 hands.
How tight were you holding that fish, man? How tight?
I had the lid like open and I had like my knee next to it, like it wasn't going
Right,
anywhere.
right.
And I was like, my
Yeah,
boat
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
touching the dock, so I mean there was really nowhere for it to go. But
All right,
I mean I
that's
held
good.
it up. I did it like quick. I just like flashed it and then put it back in. He was like, he almost
Yeah,
fell.
yeah.
He freaked out. I just wanted to see his reaction. Like,
Sure.
I think about how many bass boats he sees come to the dock and ask how
yeah.
they're doing. Like, I just want to see his reaction because he was begging to see it, and I was like, he was like, he was very quick. Like, he gave me the pump right away, and he was great and he was friendly. So I was like, I really didn't want to show it. I really didn't want to touch it. I just wanted to let it be. But
Yeah.
begging to see it, I was like, whatever, I'll just show him it. So I held it up. Ran back, hopped in, like pinned it the whole way. 'Cause in my head, I don't know, I was just doing the math wrong. I've done the run plenty of times, but I should have known better. But I got back with like 20 minutes to spare. It was not a lot of boat traffic. There was one ship and there was like some yachts, but a lot of the boats in Gan like calmed down because it's later on in the year. So definitely wasn't as bad getting back as the day before. And then ran back, had like 20 minutes, just met up with my buddy and asked how he was doing, and then he followed me in just to make sure that I got in all right, and then we went in like I said, it didn't even cross my mind, like the record like I didn't even know what it was. I didn't think that it was like, I don't know. We see a lot of giants get caught out in Idaho or something in that one lake out there that eat those salmon. So
Oh, dude, that's
I didn't think
ridiculous.
that like I thought someone had something bigger than that, but I really didn't know. I mean, it was all happened so quick, and I was just worried about getting fish to go with it. So then got to the scale, and this is where the official part comes in. So we weigh it in. I was like, get it all over. The bag was leaking. There like wasn't enough water. Like there was enough water. It was just leaking.
Oh,
It was just leaking so fast. And there wasn't any room in there. It was like biggest bag I've ever weighed. So I'm carrying it over. Get in the tanks, it's all good. Everything's all healthy. I fizzed them all because they all came from deep, like I said, and they were all healthy. Barb checked them. She was making sure they were all good. And she's like, "Wow, you fizzed them all. They're all good. You could see the mark. Like they were all healthy, all good." And then weigh the lunkers. So that scale from Fred's a tournament director. He called me today, and he has a video, or there's a video of it getting weighed, and it's on a certified scale from Bass
that's
Nation,
awesome.
and they said that it was. I mean, he weighed it, and there's a video. It's like 9 pounds even, so it was 900. And then, and not until that moment where a couple people were like, "That's the record." I was like, "What?" Like they're like, "Call
Yeah.
DC,
Whoa.
call DC." Everyone's shouting, "Call DC." And then weighed the whole bag was like 31.4 for 5. So I mean, that was the biggest one I've ever put up. And a couple guys, Jesse was calling DC to get him to come over. So this is where it is. Like 3 or 4 guys were on the phone with DC, and they're like, "Look, like we got the possible state record. Can you send someone over to certify it?" And then someone handed me the phone there on speaker, and they're like, "Yeah, we can't come out today. You have to put the fish on ice until tomorrow."
What?
I was like, "What do you mean on ice? Like put it in a bucket and like let it swim around in ice? Like what are you talking about?" And the guy's like, "No, like you need to kill it, put it on ice, and then someone will come out tomorrow and to certify it, and then you'll get the record." And I was like, it didn't
No.
even like I was like, I told him on the phone, I was like, "I'm not killing it. Like I'm gonna let it go." So much for that. But there's a
Wow.
video of it. So I did the couple people from DC and Fred I was on the phone with today, and they were all like, "We have enough video and pictures of it. We got the length, the girth, and all the pictures and videos of it getting weighed on a certified scale." And Fred says that the scale is like adjusted every year and certified by certain technicians, that it's like dialed in every year. So I just need to get with the DEC and provide them like the scale number
Oh,
and
nice.
a couple
Yeah.
other
Good.
things.
What was the previous record?
8.6.
From what I heard, it was
Cayuga,
8
right?
pounds 6 ounces from Cayuga, but I don't even. That was just from what people said, so I don't even know if
Oh,
that's
okay,
like.
got it.
I don't even know if
8.6. And yours was how much? 9.1?
9.
9. Oh, it was 9 on the nuts.
Okay.
9.0.
So that's the new record. 9 pounds.
New York 9.0, bro.
What do you know? I was curious now because obviously we fish international waters. What's
Yep.
Ontario's record? Do you know that?
Something over 9. It's big.
It is.
It's big. I don't know what it is, but I know it's a giant.
We need to figure that
So
out.
yours was in the river, Dante. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, mine.
No, I mean, it was on the U.S. side.
On the U.S. side.
I'm just curious
Oh,
if somebody
Of
caught.
the river.
Yeah.
On the river in the U.S. side. Yep.
All right. So you own the St. Lawrence Super Tanker Award from the Bass Lab.
There you
Send me
go.
your address, bro. I'm gonna
All right,
hit you up with a nice Bass Lab pack, bro. And I'm wearing the River Rat hat in your honor today, bro. And the
I
River Rat
appreciate
team,
it,
man,
Eric.
because you are a River Rats. I love River Rats, by the way.
I appreciate
Fucking River Rats rules, Travis.
it. That's awesome, Eric. That's great. I love it.
Hell yeah.
So,
All day.
see, obviously you won the tournament, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we
Big
won,
fish.
and then
Yep. Yep.
came back
Big
and-
fish and the dub. And what did it bring you to in the standings for the state team, more importantly?
So it jumped me up, and it's unofficial now, but I mean, a couple guys did some math, and it's points first, and then second is the top weight. So it jumped me, I think, to the top weight. So I should be second overall. So it jumped me all the way up, and I was, like I said, I was coming from far back at times.
Yeah, 23rd, right after the first tie, right?
No.
On Champlain.
24. It might even been 25th. It was somewhere between 23rd
you said
and
20.
25th. I had like 16 pounds, and then I only weighed 21 on the day before. So and there was like 27. Kevin Steinruck broke the record on Saturday, and he weighed 27 and change, 27.6 or something. He weighed a bag, and he broke the record. So he got paid for that, and I'm super happy for him. He's a really good guy. He works hard as anyone else does. So he definitely.
Are you stoked to be on the state team, bro? I mean, not only New York State record once it gets officially certified by DEC, but state team and one hell of a comeback. And big bag and check for big.
Yeah, man, I was fired up because I came back from a ways, and me and my buddy Liam both got in there, and Kevin made it as well. I think it's all unofficial, but I think we all should be in there. So I'm stoked for that. This is my first year doing it. So,
dude, and just to go back to what you said earlier, when you set this whole thing up, you almost didn't cast at that fish.
Yeah, I almost didn't. I literally, because I caught those two small
fish. Just wait till you get the haters comments that say because you're using a cheater box, it doesn't count for the state record.
Hey! I encourage any of those guys that say it's cheating to go out and try to catch one on scope, because your boat needs to be in the exact right position. Anyone that's done it knows, like, your boat needs to be in the right position. You get one shot, maybe two at an unpressured fish, but you get one shot at pitching at a fish to get its interest, and then you may as well leave and go on to another one if it doesn't.
I hear you. They're out there, though.
Travis knows all about it.
The right.
We had the guy that caught the largemouth on the show, the Cayuga, and the aftermath. People are like, "Oh, was that on live scope? It doesn't count then."
Well, he said he didn't see the fish, so. Whatever. He was using the scope to look at the grass and maybe the edge and the holes in the grass, but he didn't see that.
I don't care. I hate
it. It don't really matter. I don't care how anybody catches their fish.
It's harder than it looks for anyone that says it's.
I agree, man. Bring on the haters. So if that was a female, I mean, was it fat? Was it eaten? I mean, do you think there was a potential that fish weighed heavier in the spring? What are your thoughts on
that fish? There's a picture where I'm holding up two fish, and that fish on the right picture was the one that was like 6 1/4, and it just had shoulders. Like, it was just.
So here's the picture he's referencing, right?
No, the other one.
No,
nope,
the other one.
That was the Empire one.
Oh, sorry, I got it right here.
Yeah, so that fish on the right hand side was over 6, and then the one on the left was the big one. And it was just built. I mean, I think the length was 20.
Yeah, what did it? How long?
I'm gonna look it up. It was 23. It was fat though. Its stomach, it was just round. It had shoulders. It had a forehead. A lot of giant ones have like a distorted forehead when you catch one.
They got the knot, the rhinoceros head.
Yep, the rhino.
They got the knot. It's that knot head.
You need that forehead, man. When they got a forehead knot, that's a big fish.
Yeah, it was 18 1/4 girth and 23 1/8 long.
Wow. 23 1/8.
But it was just
long ass smallmouth.
It was just dense, man. It was just a giant. Like, when I put it on top of the live well lid, and it just like.
That's when you kind of knew.
It
just took up the whole space.
And Liam looked at it before I weighed it, and he looked in the box, and he was like, it was bent. It was like bent. I wish I took more videos and pictures of it, but it was like, I just wanted it to live. It just
Yeah,
like
did you get a video of it in the live well? Like, oh,
I got a
no.
picture of me holding it up out of the live well, but it was bent in the live well where like almost didn't fit. Like my live wells in the Skeeter, like, they're not like giant, but it looked like it didn't belong in there. It was just like bent around, or it just was like it was taking up a lot of room in there. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
It was a crazy once in a lifetime
It's
deal.
always been my theory when guys talk about record fish. I mean, you got to think there's hundreds of record fish, like big ones out there somewhere.
There's got to be a 10-pounder out there.
That's what I was going to ask you guys next. I mean, there's a double digit swimming around somewhere.
Double digit smallmouth in the St. Lawrence River. Maybe.
Is there a world record on Lake Ontario?
What is the world record smallmouth? I don't even know.
It's the Dale Hollow one still.
Which is what?
13.
11. No, 11. I thought.
Maybe it was 11. 11 or 13. I don't know. I remember it was Dale
maybe.
Is that
fish, if that was a female, you would think it may have pushed 10 pounds in the spring.
It could. I mean, if that thing eats like I think during the Empire last weekend we had
11-15 Dale Hollow, but that's 1965, 1955. Sorry. And if you have listened to Bass After Dark, you'll hear a lot of stories about
is it legit
challenges to both the largemouth and the smallmouth. I think can't be sure.
Yeah, I mean, we caught one in the Empire where it was like there was a thick goby tail sticking out the end of its throat. So it's like if that fish eats a giant goby, I mean, there's I don't know a few ounces right there, and then it's on some weight. Like
how big's the biggest goby you guys have seen caught on a Ned rig?
Oh,
I mean, I don't know. I don't weigh gobies. There's some big ones.
No, but like how many inches would they be?
I don't know, giant, maybe like.
Are you seeing a goby that big?
Sure.
Bigger than that in the lake. There's some giant gobies.
Holy shit, that's a big.
I'm gonna catch the world record goby. That's my new thing.
Are you seeing a goby that big? Hold on, let me take it out.
The DEC would come out for a world record goby, or if they're not gonna work on Sunday.
You see gobies that big, like 6 inches?
Don't we pay their taxes? I don't understand that. That's pretty messed up. But hopefully they do it right for you. You know?
Yeah, I hope so, man. I mean, like I said, I was just worried about getting that fish back, and they wanted to put it on ice. I feel like my biggest bone to pick, like you said, the health of the fish.
What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Here's my I'll give you my take. I don't want not the health of the fishery, but the fact that the fishing drastically changes year to year in areas and spots, in the way that the spawn sets up, in the way that the weather patterns are that year. Everything's always different, and it's not always the same. It sounds like, some may think, oh, you got a magical boulder, a magical stretch that you've been winning on all season long. Sounds like you've been able to just same with me. Like I don't really catch the same. I can't duplicate what I do the week before ever.
You can't. No, I'd love to get into this. So the year we fished your tournament, like every year, whether it's charter boats or whoever's rolling in there, like almost I've never weighed a fish from like a spot from the year before. Like you have to constantly change. But like my biggest bone to pick with the seasons is, and I got a note on my truck like you did, and I wasn't even fishing for bass, which is funny. I'll read that in a second. But the Canadian season is open like year round, and then they close it for the spawn, and they close it May 15th to, depending on what zone you're in, like May 15th to July 1st, I think.
Yeah.
Or the first weekend in July. Canadian season's closed.
Yep.
And the US, New York rules are it opens. The whole point of having a season, in my opinion, is to protect the fish for the spawn.
Sure.
And they open the season as the spawn starts. So what's the point of having a season if you're going to do that? So I went out in May, and it's legal to go launch your boat and then go into Canada and fish prior to May 15th. So it was like April, the water temp was 42, and I was in Messina for Easter or something. And I launched the boat. I go perch fishing with my grandfather. He's 80 years old. Go put 50 perch in the live well, just bucket full of them. I get back. I'm only trucking there when I launch. I get back to my truck and there's a note on my windshield, and it said, "Yo brah," like BRAH. The reason we have such good smallmouth fishing is because it's close. I gotta find it. It was like the reason we have such good smallmouth fishing is because it's closed during the spawn, and we have idiots like you out here fishing for them. Don't try to say you are pan fishing. You are being watched, and then like
Wow.
made some stupid comment. But I'm like, he was like,
You
the
are
season's
being
closed. I was like,
watched.
there's like 4 things wrong with that. Oh, because he said that the reason we have such good bass fishing is because we have their season closed during the spawn.
Sure. Which it
A,
isn't. Yeah.
the water temp was 42. There was no, I mean, maybe a couple bass maybe spawning there. Like they weren't spawning then. B, I was actually pan fishing. I was literally catching perch. Like
Right.
my live well was full of 50 perch. And then the third thing, Canada was open. So even if I wanted to go over to Canada and go catch 50
Yeah.
bass and
I
release,
get
I was totally legal to. So it was like people that have no idea what they're talking about to go write a note on your truck when I'm like the only one in the lot. It's like, what are you doing? Like you have no idea. You don't even know what you're talking about. So like, what's
That's
the point?
crazy, man.
So I don't know. The
Ridiculous.
season, I think the fishery itself, like they do. I heard someone in Canada was telling me that they did a population study, and this was interesting to me. And they were like, population's getting better and better and better. And I'm like, they're like, there's more and more fish. I'm like, how big are the fish that you're surveying? Are you surveying 1-pounders and 2-pounders? Because I believe you that there's more 1-pounders and 2-pounders than ever before. But if you try to tell me that there's more 5-pounders and 6-pounders than before, like anyone could ask someone that's been fishing this place for like I've been fishing for 10 years, but like someone that's like actually been fishing it hard for 10 plus years, like back in the day
Mhm.
from what I've talked to people, they're like, you could catch as many as you want. People tell stories of dropping down on 2D and it was like taking candy from a baby. Like you could just catch them and then they wouldn't get smart. You could just catch another one and another one and another one. Like Brandon Polnick when he won the elites, when he ran all the way to Lake, he was
Mhm.
like one of the first to do it. Like you could just catch them over and over and over. Like they are so smart now that you can literally catch one fish at a spot and like you're lucky if you catch 2 there right away. Like you have to leave, let them sit, let them set back up and then come back. But it's like
Sure.
there's no way that it's getting better. I think people are getting better. I think people are spending more time. I think people are getting better at live scope, but the population, they're saying the numbers are better because there's more fish. But if you're doing population of 1-pounders and 2-pounders, then like sure, the population is better, the fishery's getting better, and it's I think a lot of people that aren't familiar with the fishery that are like, this place is only getting better, and you hear tournament directors and all this place is getting better and better every year. It's really not, in my opinion. I don't think it's getting any better. I think people are just figuring it out and they're getting smarter. Like if you talk to any fisherman, they're like, it's getting harder. They're getting smarter and smarter and smarter. But
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you think about it? You think it's getting better?
I think every year is different. I love your statement that the fish are getting smarter, but at the same time, there's certain pods and certain groups that you'll run into. I'm sure you've seen that where it is pretty fun and they do bite. So
Definitely.
I don't know. I get it. I get it where you make a cast and there's 6 of them there and you're not going to catch another one and you'll screw it up. But I
Right.
also will run into an area where it's like they're the dumbest things ever for a little
Right.
while. It
In
doesn't
the lake.
last.
In the lake. Right?
Right. Yeah. But I don't know.
Are you
I'm
talking river, Dante?
Well,
When you
I
said
think
what you just said?
the lake fish is you almost have to say it differently because like the wind that the lake gets protects it for majority of the year, plus the winter.
Yeah.
And the further
Yeah.
you go, the dumber they get. But like it depends what you're talking about. Because like I agree with you, Travis. Like the lake fish, like you can go mess them up like they've never seen a bait in their life. But there's some areas in the river that like over time they definitely gets tougher. But I mean the whole thing with the spawn, I don't know. No one really knows how much catching a bass off a bed affects it. Like I've seen that spawn tournament I fish, like you can catch one, you can watch the gobies go swim over the bed. Like if the bass lays its eggs and then you catch it and then the gobies go eat the eggs, like it's probably a small percentile that it happens. But I do believe that those fish get stressed out earlier and then they get, like we said, how many tournaments are up here every weekend,
Sure.
all the way till end of September. So by the time September rolls around, they are more educated than when you get out there in July. And I know there's a post-spawn funk and they get picky sometimes, but like in July and August, like they definitely bite better. And then throughout the year, the weights seem to go down a little bit. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm totally wrong, but like
I think the weights are incredible.
I know they're like
Maybe
going up.
that's because the hardcore guys are getting more, serious about it, or more effective. I do want to make a comment about the spawn. I feel, yes, community holes and stuff like that where they spawn. I think there's so many fish. I think there's I don't want to pick a number. There's 50 beds we'd never see to every one we do see.
Oh, yeah.
I do think that.
For sure.
I think there's a lot of beds that are deep. I think there's a lot of beds in places where guys aren't looking. I think there's a spawn that goes on. I mean, I don't want to get into it, but I mean, these fish spawn for 5 months out of the year, maybe more from what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing. I don't understand what's going on, but there's some, I don't know nothing about smallmouth, man. In the last, I learned, I don't know nothing. The more I know, the less I know. Does that make sense?
I'm with you. I agree. Like it's
crazy.
Yeah, there's so much. That's the one thing about fishing is like you never know everything, and it's a constant learning process. And then once you think you have it figured out, like you'll see some shit that just blows your mind. You're like,
yeah,
like you said, 5 months they're spawning out of the year. You see some stuff that you're like, wow, I heard that before from someone, but I wouldn't believe it until I saw it with my own eyes. And I've seen some stuff where it's just like, wow, that's insane. So, I don't know that whole thing. It's like it's a huge debate, but I think they should just match Canadian season and call it a day. But
I kind of agree with that. That's cool. That's a cool way of thinking. But when I went to that DEC meeting in the spring, I kind of was vocal about it, that they were talking about, when we should have a close season versus not. And I basically said, listen, I don't even know why we're talking about close season. Open this thing up. There's no other place on the Great Lakes that's closed year round or closed like this. They're open year round. Have a catch and release. Let us enjoy the fishery. We don't get a lot of opportunities to fish. I'd rather see it open year round.
Season.
I'd rather see it catch and release. Catch and release.
Are they going to do that?
I have no idea what I doubt it.
They're not going to do anything. They won't do anything. But
I agree. 2025. What?
I don't know.
They're not going to follow Canada's lead. They're not thinking about the economics of bringing, commerce into New York State, upstate. I don't get.
I don't think they care about that. I really don't.
What?
I don't know if it's driven by. I don't know. I know there's a big crowd that comes up for the spawn year, and I'm sure that they get some.
Wouldn't it release some pressure if it was open year round? Because most guys I know love to come up in listen. What blew my mind was this June, seeing everybody up there for 2 weeks straight, and then it died off.
Parking lots were packed from Texas, Alabama, everywhere.
Oh,
and it was
for real? Oh my gosh!
It was when it was closing. Like I didn't fish for like that couple weeks during the spawn. Like I'll go to
when it was closed. They were there packing the parking lots, just fishing.
Oh yeah, you wouldn't believe it. You ask people that are around Clayton, like it was unbelievable.
Were they driving over to Canada or no to fish the Canadian side?
They don't care. They didn't know. There's people walking in the bait shop. They were like, I think I heard a story. Someone at the bait shop told someone that it was closed, and they're like, "What's closed?" They're like, "I don't care. I just drove here from Texas. I'm going out." I was like,
right?
Wow.
It's not stopping anyone. But like, if they're gonna have the season, then like, there's no point. If you're gonna have the season open during the spawn, then why even have a season? But like, I'm for the Canadian rule, but like I said, getting the note on my truck when I'm out in April, like catching the fish when they're the healthiest that they are all year. The water's the coldest. They're the healthiest they are all year. Like you said, Travis, let's enjoy it in the spring.
Yeah.
We have not even a 5-6 month season. You got the boat in storage for a couple months. Like, why not enjoy it in the spring while they're healthy? You're not hurting them in the spring. You're hurting them more during the spawn than in the spring. But like, I'm not it is what it is. They're not. They
Mhm.
probably won't do anything. It's
Yeah, think about this, Eric. November 30th, it closes here in these two counties, and
November, or
I'm
December.
sure. What's that?
November, or December. It's November. Right?
November 30th. So I'm sure there'll be fishable water in the first couple of weeks of December that we could take advantage of it because they're spawning, right? Which they're not.
Yeah.
They're going to close the season on November 30th. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
And-
I agree with you. What's the point of closing it? They're
Yeah.
not spawning in December. Like,
Mhm.
That's when they're putting on their winter weight for the spawn, guys. Get with it.
Oh,
Don't
okay.
you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You don't want to
yeah.
interrupt their eating and feeding schedules for the
Right,
spawn.
right. I don't know. It's definitely messed up, but
That's crazy.
it's
Get involved. Go to your legislature. Call your people, Travis. Get involved.
Yep.
Take action.
Yep.
Use your voice. Use your
There you go.
influence. You're a YouTuber. You've
There
got
you go.
Dante up and comer. He's like, drift right through that thing, man. Let's go. DRT, bro.
yeah, man.
You
Oh,
guys
wow.
can affect change, man. Get inspired.
All right.
Side petition.
Let's
Put
get
pressure
shot
on your
down.
local politicians. We're talking about commerce. This is what makes it goes around, right? I mean, you're a guide. This is affecting your income. Go in front of the legislature and talk about it. You don't think hotel owners would want to book people in November? Cape Way Cottages or whatever it's called up there in Cape Vincent, dude. They
I
could
think
have
what,
people
I
there
think
in
what's
early
going to happen
December.
is
Hotels,
for-
restaurants, gas stations. This is the stuff that makes the world go round. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, it's
Get
twofold,
involved.
but I don't want to see more fucking yahoos up here fishing for smallmouth.
Oh, so now
I don't want to find my
realism comes out.
boulders. Keep them home.
So
Stay in Texas, you
selfishly-
freaks.
All right. Well, now we really understand why you don't get involved. Okay, I got you. Can't have it both ways. Yeah,
I
let's
know,
open
I
it
know.
just for the locals. Nah, it
Yeah.
doesn't work that way. It's
I
a
know.
double-edged sword. You either one or you don't.
It is.
You
Literally,
can we
any-
tried to voice our opinion with
You
it.
just called a 9-pounder in a 31-pound bag. Holy
Yeah,
crap!
now everyone from Texas will be up. Thanks, Dante. Everyone's going to be here now.
But not everyone from Texas can catch
They're
it.
going to be in Ogdensburg looking for it now.
Yeah, they're
Hey,
gonna
too
go
bad.
tag it.
Too
and
bad
go
they got
find
that
it.
live scope on the front. It'd be a lot harder if you had to drift the river with 2D, right, Dante? You know what's up. So now you're
Yeah.
bringing up people. All they got to do is like put the boat in near the launch. Just
So
go out
easy.
to the first jump.
Yeah.
Deep drive. Exactly. It's that cheater
Yeah.
box. It's so easy, Travis.
Hey, we didn't talk about what I know there's a lot of different techniques, but like what's a technique or beta choice that you found this year has been like successful for you? Can you get into that a little bit?
Yeah.
Great.
I'd say this year was like I was kind of saying with the boat positioning and when you're scoping them, it was almost, and I've learned this from my buddy Liam, not this bait technique, but just like going back to the basics. Like some people get so wound up. Like if you're in Texas and you're fishing for fish that get fished for 12 months of the year, I get why people get crazy with crazy Japanese techniques, 100%. But like the fish
Fair.
that we're fishing for up here, in my opinion, I mean, throughout the year they definitely get smarter, like we talked about all that. But like they will eat a Ned rig, a tube. Some people, everyone's complaining this year that they won't eat a drop shot. But like if you hold it there long enough and hold it still enough, like they will eat it.
Sure. Right. Yeah.
So I'd say just going back to the basics and just dragging on the bottom and just knowing that the length of the leader on the drop shot matters. Some people says it doesn't. Some people just wing it out there and let it soak, whatever. But I mean, line, the pound test of your line, and
Oh, wait a minute. Stop the presses. Talk a little bit. Expand on that a little bit.
yeah. I would when I started fishing the river like 3 years ago. It was like I feel like I started with like 8, and then I jumped to like 10, and then I was wrenching on them. And I think I was that after that college tournament when I snapped. Yeah, I had a couple that I snapped in like the last 5 seconds. I was hand lining one and it snapped me, and then I dropped one on a can right in the last second. So after that, I like downsized. I like got all crazy with it and went right down to like 6 pound, and then I tried 5, and I went back to 6 because I was like just seeing how much I could wrench on them without it breaking, basically.
Yeah.
And then if I'm fishing
You
anything
feel
on
like
the
5
bottom,
and 6 generate more bites
I don't know. I feel like it
on
depends
days
on
where it's tricky?
if it's like piss flat and sunny,
Sure.
then possibly yes.
Yeah.
But if it's like blowing out there and they're gonna eat anything, it's just a reaction bite. It depends on the fish you're fishing for. If you're fishing on like
Right on.
big community hole and those fish see baits every day, then like I think that the lighter pound test gives your bait a little more action. If you're throwing like
Always.
12 pound versus 6, definitely, but like difference between 6 and 7 pound, like I don't know if it makes that much of a difference. Like I'm sure with all depends on the bait you're throwing. If it's like a flatworm or a flat-nosed minnow or a swim
Sure.
bait on a drop shot or whatever it is, like whatever the bait is doing while being suspended on the drop shot, I think that definitely matters. And then anything fishing on the bottom, tube, Ned rig, a
Sure.
jig. I love fishing a jig. I mean, I kind of got away from it, but definitely went back to it some this year. And I don't know. I think it's literally like 95% boat positioning, presenting your bait properly, than it actually is the bait. And I think a lot of people get obsessed with the bait. And there are times where like you could be standing next to your buddy and throwing two different things, and one guy's smoking them, the other guy's not catching anything, and they just want
Very
that
true.
thing that day. Like
We've
it
all
happens.
been there for sure.
It happens.
No doubt. No doubt. Presentation's key, man. Interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Cool.
I see it. I know that because I see it every day with
Yeah. You know
Sure
these
do.
fish better than
with
me.
strangers. Like I know if their style is gonna be productive that day or not. You know,
What do you think about the
Yeah.
pound test? Do you think it matters?
I don't. Nope. I mean, I'm an 8-pound guy. All right. On drop shots and Neds, I'll bump it up if I'm dragging a tube or something or a jig. But every day I'm rigging 8 for my finessier stuff, and if I'm going to drop a jig on their heads, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use 10. If it's
You running
anything
10
over
on your
3
jig?
pounds. What's that?
You're running 10 on your jig?
Not dragging, dropping, just finessing them.
Cool. Yep.
Dragon, I'll go to 14, man. 12, 14. I will.
Yep.
Yeah, be up.
I won't go down to 10, but I'm true 14 if I'm
Yeah,
just
you're gonna break. I'm with you, man. I don't. I've seen it potentially where there was some cases where lighter line worked, but I'm more of the opinion that it's how the bait is presented to these fish. But I'm also at the opinion that we are overcomplicating it. I can take any bait down in my garage right now and hold it up to the camera, and it will not resemble anything that these fish eat every day naturally. So I'm sorry, but because you're downsizing your line 2 pounds and he's still going to eat this piece of fucking plastic that doesn't look like anything a fish would eat. That's where I'm at. So
I'm with you on that. I don't 9 times out of 10. I don't
spinner bait. What does a spinner bait look like, Eric? Come on, man.
We don't know because we're not the fish pro.
I don't know, man.
Exactly. They're just that dumb.
I do like getting away with
smallmouth.
the less pound test possible. I am big into lighter hooks. I've been downsizing my hooks a lot in presentations if I can.
So that matters. So you're telling me a smallmouth is going to wait a minute, time out. So a smallmouth is going to eat a freaking Ned rig.
Probably
right?
not.
Like they're going to eat a Ned rig, and all of a sudden he's down there looking at this thing, and he's going, "Oh, that hook gap is way too big. I'm not biting." What the fuck is wrong with you, man? What you just?
I'm talking about drop
0 cents.
I'm gonna make a statement.
What? It doesn't make any sense.
I use size 1 drop shot hooks for many years. Then I use size 2. Now I'm going down to 4 and 6s.
Are you doing that because it's better hooking and holding power, or you think the fish is inspecting your hook going, that doesn't look
better
natural?
holding and
You
hooking
just said,
power, and I
Okay,
think it
that's
gives
fair.
the bait a better presentation, perhaps.
You mean the bait that doesn't look like anything that he gives
Correct.
a better presentation? What
Yes.
sense is that making? It
It does, because some baits will just fall. I know they look stupid. I know all plastic don't look real, but some
so you have
plastic
to make the
don't
dumb
look real.
plastic make.
I'm-
It's just
you don't get
it's
it.
all in your head, bro. It's in your head, bro.
And maybe it is.
It's in your head. It's all in your head.
All right.
I agree with the hooking and holding power. Dante, I heard that Robert Gee, and I was on the show when he talked about this. He talked about the super coated, the nano coating. He's gotten away from that. He said he lost too many fish on it. So he likes the black nickel because it has more holding power. Interesting thought.
Yeah. I agree. I think I don't
Oh.
know the hook things is tough. There's like all different. There's the thin wire, the heavy ones. If you're
Oh,
dragging
yeah.
the jig and you're hitting them with 14, you're swinging on them on a baitcaster, or if you're using a spinning
Sure.
rod and you're
Sure.
reeling into them with your drag set loose, or if you got your
Yep.
spinning rod but your drag's locked, you hit them and then back off.
Yeah,
So I mean,
I agree with Travis what he said. I was just having fun with him, man. But I agree. Hook size, gap, needle, point. How long is the point of the hook versus the size of the barb? We've all been through the odyssey of
And
hooks.
listen,
Travis,
we're at
I
the
agree.
same.
It makes a complete difference. It
My
does.
my fun fishing setup, because I think it is all in our heads, versus my tournament day setup is slightly different. Like I'll refuse to probably throw a lead drop shot weight during the tournament, but when I'm guiding or fun fishing, that's all I use, and I still catch them. So
So
it
you
is a
want
mind.
why do you want the tungsten for the
I want the
sound,
black
for the
coated,
feel? Oh, so you think
I
it
don't
matters?
know. I
I
don't
got you.
know.
Yeah, just take a Sharpie on your lead one and save
Right,
some
right,
money,
right.
bro.
I'm
you
just
Or are you
saying.
the
supposed
weight
to use?
smaller or no? You're
What's that?
think it's because the weight itself is smaller when you're drop shotting than the big
Smaller diameter profile. I used to be a 5/8 guy for fishing deep with a drop shot when I'm seeing them on live scope, but I realized you need to actually have a couple different setups ready to go for that particular day or that particular pot of fish. So
100%.
I've learned a lot with that. But
You mean when you're dropping vertically? Do you think the bigger weight, like the bigger lead, once it gets down, makes this bigger disturbance on the bottom and attracts the fish?
I don't
Do
know
you
about
think
that. I think it's more. I know some days fish don't mind having it bombed on their head, and I'd rather pitch a bait quickly and see how the fish is going to react and catch them versus
Right.
maybe a quarter-ounce weight that's going to fall a little bit slower, might be a little harder to track, or depending on the
Sure.
conditions of the waves. But
Vomit,
I've
right?
definitely seen where certain days are that will outproduce versus the other. But then I've also
Mhm.
seen where just going back to the basics works too. So I think it's everyone's confidence, and I don't know. It's confusing, man.
And cost savings. I mean, like literally tungsten versus
Sure.
lead.
Yeah,
5/8 ounce lead versus 5/8 ounce tungsten. You're dropping down
Mhm.
$3 every time with a 5/8, unless you get some deal. I mean, it's
Right.
expensive, dude.
It is.
It's a
It
$3
is.
weight versus a what?
Well, even baits nowadays are expensive. Like a pack of
Right.
freaking little generals. Shit.
Talk
What is it?
about gas. Making that
$6.99?
run's
Right.
not cheap either.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, right? That's the
Yeah.
truth, man.
I burnt $1,000 the week of the Toyota and gas. I'm sure you burnt close to it too.
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
fishing ain't a money making venture when you have the boat, truck, fuel,
Nah.
insurance,
But I don't know
maintenance,
what else I'd
gear.
do with my
Not
life.
unless you're a guy. Not unless you're a guide like
Telling
Travis.
me, yeah, you got a point, man.
So what
Fishing ain't a money making adventure. It's fun.
do you have? What things in the future? Like, do you have any desire to perhaps be a professional on one of the top trails, the Elite Series, anything like that, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I get asked this from a lot of my friends and people from home are like, what do you like, what's your end goal? Like, what is your goal? Like, why are you like not why are you doing this, but like what's your end goal? And like when I graduated school at 21, like went down to Kentucky, got the boat, like I was burnt over that losing that tiebreaker on the river for sure. Like, that stung me. So I was like, I wanna be the guy on the river. Like that was my goal for a couple of years at least. And then now that I've been on the river for a couple
Well, you
of
are
years,
the guy. You are the guy in the river, so
I
it's time
wouldn't
to
say
move
that
on.
yet,
All
but
right, cool.
Mission
Time to
accomplished.
move on.
I don't know about that. But I don't the end goal, like I don't know. I feel that the way that the industry is right now, and I'm sure we've all seen it from everyone coming out and talking that you're there, even once you make it there, it's not like fishing every day is a dream job, 1,000%. Like being a guide, like that's amazing. Like I'd love to fish every day. Like wouldn't love nothing more than that. But being where we are, we have a shorter season, and at the end of the day, every year off the elites, I don't know how many people get kicked off, but what is it, 9? 9 guys don't make it back.
Sure.
So say you make it, and that's your full-time job is being a fisherman, and you have some people have help from sponsors, like that's a whole nother thing, like having a sponsorship deals, getting funded to go, because like once you make it, it's not cheap. You got to go put up 50 grand, do all
Sure.
those things, and it's like not cheap at all. But you're literally, your full-time job is like at risk every 2 years if you don't requal, and then it's go home, thanks for coming, like you're done, and then you got to go make it back against a field full of hammers.
Oh, yeah.
The fields are only getting more and more stacked with all the shifts, with people banning live scope and whatnot, everyone jumping ship. That I don't know. I'd love to be out there, but like providing for a family and like that being a full-time job, like that is not easy. So like props to those guys that are just getting there and that are out there and doing it. And then not only that, but you're traveling 9 months a year. Like that's
Brutal.
tough. Like you're
That's a
literally
grinder, bro.
it's a wicked grind. You start in February, and some guys live out of the camper. Some guys go pre-fish. Like there's a few guys that just pre-fish every event, so they're just driving. Like you're still fishing every day, but like it's taxing, man. Like props to those guys that got their head down, that are putting in the work, going out and just
Yeah.
fishing as much as they can.
Yep.
But I don't really know, man. Honestly, like it's
Yeah.
even if you get there, it's not like, you guys know how it is. It's not the perfect. And with all the commotion in the industry right now, I don't really know. I think next year, I don't think I'm gonna do the trail again. I think I'm gonna fish. I'm definitely gonna fish TIO again. I think I'm gonna get away from that the Canadian trail and try to fish more. I'm considering doing all three Toyotas. I'm gonna see what the open schedule comes out with,
Sure.
but I'm leaning towards hopping in all three Toyotas and kind of maybe doing less tournaments, because it's like working a full-time job. So I got 3 weeks to play with, and then
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday derb. You're not gonna go show up to you're gonna go drop 1,800 and just show up. So you're gonna go take the week off, practice Monday, Tuesday, half a day Wednesday.
Yeah.
So
Think about the economics of that, right?
and it's still not cheap. And it's like you break down coming back, and you're young like me, like lost 2 grand and snap a finger last year. It's like that sucks. Like plus the gas,
That
plus the
hurts.
time, all that. So I don't know. End
Mhm.
goal is like, I don't know. It's up in the air, but I mean, props to the guys that do it for a living, because they make it look easy, and people are like, oh, they're an elite. Like they get to fish every day. Like they shouldn't complain about how much they make. It's like, dude, it's not easy, and like I can't even speak from their experience, but it's like being on the
Nothing
road
easy
for 9
about
months a year, being away from their family, and then if you don't catch them, if you have a bad year and you slip, and then something happens the next year, like your boat could break down, or some days the fish just jump off and you can't control it if they jump out and spit your hook out, and then like you just have 2 bad years in a row, like you're
Yeah.
literally done. You got to start all over again. Some people with the
It's the
exemption,
toughest sport ever, man.
it's
Toughest
so
sport
hard.
ever.
Your full-time job is like literally never secure unless you win the multiple AOIs, multiple classics, whatever. And like that's even harder to do. So if you do that, then you deserve to stay on there. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's tough, man. I don't know. I'm considering doing all three Toyotas, or I don't know, but fishing the river was just the cheapest way, that because I work hybrid, so I go in the office. Like I'm going in the office tomorrow, but
What do you
I'll
do
be
for a living?
so I'm a project manager for TRC. It's a electrical engineering firm, engineering
Yeah.
consultant firm out of Syracuse. So
Nice.
we build electrical substations, and like I said, I was up there last week for the career fair recruiting. So it was
Cool, man.
pretty cool
Keeping us
gig.
powered up, man. There you
Yeah,
go.
man. Yeah, man. They're all good people there. They all know it. I like to fish hard. So my boss always gives me shit and is like, "Oh, when are you gonna leave us and go pro?" I'm like, I'm not gonna. Don't think I'm gonna go down and like fish all. Like you just need to have a lot of to go fish all 9 opens. You have to have a lot of backing. That I mean, I won't say I'll never do it, because I never know when they change the format, and whatever happens might happen. But it's definitely not an
It's
easy
a big
just to,
investment of time and money,
yeah.
man. What's it cost to fish all 9 opens, Travis?
Oh,
It is.
God.
It's a lot. Yeah.
50 grand?
Probably more than that.
60? Plus time away from, if you're married,
9
if you've got a
opens.
family, if you're, yeah.
18.
I mean, wear and tear on your vehicle, your boat.
Depends. I mean, you could probably do it for 40, 50.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
you're not
so
really working.
you got to gross 75 to make the 50, and then you're not working, so you're losing another.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it.
It's
You
an
spent cash,
interesting,
you didn't pay taxes. It's crazy.
It's an interesting sport.
You gotta
You,
love
you
it.
do have to have you gotta have a business or some form of income that you don't have to be there You can't be
Mhm.
working a regular job to even pull off the opens, I feel.
I agree.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
guys that do it are like hats off to them. Like everyone in the elites, obviously insane fishermen. Like MLF, Bass Pro Tour, all those guys are like insane, and it's so hard to get there, and it's so hard to stay there. So like, they're animals for doing that and for fishing.
Especially now, right? With the industry the
Insane.
way it is, Dante, for
It's
sure,
only
man.
getting
I mean,
harder.
yeah, sponsors are diluted and spread out, right? You got the social media
Mhm.
influence, which never used to be there.
Mhm.
You know, it's a
100%.
grinder, man. You
Wicked.
got
Yeah.
the leagues now changing the format, at the top level. You got the NPFL, no scope, which is cool for
So
the guys. who
I
wanna
heard
be
General
eligible.
Tire just pulled out of MLF.
Did they really?
Yeah, and a couple
Why?
pros.
Oh, for sure.
So
What? Oh, wow. Is that one of their big sponsors? Because they have like the title sponsor
yeah,
for a portion of the MLF events.
and a
What'd you guys think
couple.
of the team events, real quick?
Well, I liked
Did
it.
you like that
I
format?
liked
That
it
was
because it was
cool.
back in my hometown.
Yeah, I liked it because that no practice, 3 different lakes.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I
really a
knew,
scope
bro. I
focused
knew
tournament. It was
I knew
entertaining.
every spot those guys were
You-
fishing. It was just it brought back memories. Like I remember I'd seen all the places. Like it was pretty cool. Like if you're not
Yeah,
from
what-
around there, I if it was like in Missouri, I probably wouldn't have even cared.
Sure. But yeah, when it's on your home stuff, man.
Yeah, it was
I
cool.
love the team format, man. I think it's a cool format. It was
Mhm.
entertaining. It was their
You
emotions
know,
came
you
out.
remember? You see that show where
Right.
it was Keith Poche and some other dude was
Yeah.
that's a
Who
carp
was it?
fence that he was fishing, and that was in the back of the Beetamore Duck Hunting Club, where I've duck hunted in there and got harassed
Unbelievable.
growing up because I was in their
Ah.
club, even though I was on federally water and I could float a boat in there. These
Yeah.
motherfuckers would freaking do everything they can to keep me out of that freaking thing, dude. I was mad, dude.
I love it.
I ran that club without paying the dues. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about,
That's my
Travis.
water.
That's
That's
my
public water.
fish. That's my
That's public
fish.
water.
You're damn right, dude. If
All
you can
right.
float a boat in
Anyway,
it, I agree, man. Nobody owns the mud.
that's right. They acted
At
like
least
they
in
did.
some states they do say you own the mud below the river.
I
Isn't that
don't know. I
crazy?
don't like getting into it.
That's true. I know, me either, man. It's a whole thing. Water rights, bro.
That's right.
That's funny, man. That's cool that they were in your hometown, man, and you were like you knew the areas. That's neat.
Oh yeah.
I just like the format.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool.
You're from PA in the Erie tournament you're talking about?
No. So I'm originally from Wisconsin.
Oh, out
I
there, the
spent-
one they did out there. Yeah, I got you. I got you.
They fished the Upper Lakes, part of the Winnebago chain, Beetamore, Winnicott, I think Poygan. Then they fished Green Lake. I saw something else, just some
Look
local
at Travis
bodies.
just rolling off like butter, man. Right there. It's just like say it again like
Yeah.
that. Do it again. Where'd
Bro,
they
I
fish,
used to
Travis?
have, dude, Lake
Fuck yeah,
Winnebago
that
back
dude's
in
there.
back in the prime.
Yeah.
Bro, I got a map. I got a freaking map of walleyes for tomorrow. Put man-made reefs all
Wow.
around the lake during the wintertime. They go out there with dump trucks and they make walleye spawning reefs out there, right?
Are you joking me?
No, bro. I got the map of the coordinates, dude, in like 2000, 2001. No, it'd be later than that. 2006, 2007. And
Money.
those walleye reefs, bro, were freaking bass magnets back in the day. And we threw the
Are you
magic bug with a
joking me?
smallie beaver or a Carolina rig tube. And I would hit 60 of these reefs every tournament.
What's the magic bug? Was that the original sniper?
The original sniper was Paul Schieffer's magic bug.
Dang, dude, that's pretty tight right there.
Yeah.
So doesn't that make you think like if you could build some walleye reefs on the Great Lakes, you'd be having like some
Bro,
really good thing.
bro.
Can you put a dump
You
truck
don't
on the
even
back
know.
of a pontoon boat?
If
and
I
just
had
dump?
the time to dump more shit, I would. Not that I do. I'm
Hey,
just
well, I
saying.
can tell you this much on the river rats, listen up, dude. Dudes that go out and put cinder blocks on certain things.
Yeah, I ain't
during
talking
the
about cinder
year
block. I
and
need
work
those
on-
big freaking
No, you need-
circular concrete things that would
Yeah,
take
yeah.
a crane to lift up. I want to
Yeah.
dump about 40 of those things out there.
Dude, can you imagine? You win everything.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh my gosh.
Do either of you know what I was listening to Mercer's podcast a couple weeks ago, and Mercer asked, it was like the Johnstons, and I think Fight and Robert Cimarron, and he asked, what is one rule that you could change? And I think Chris mentioned not being allowed to dump things out in the water. And I didn't even really think that people were doing that, but he was like, pre-practice guys will go out and dump things in the water, and that kind of went over my head. I didn't even really.
Dude, Dante, I learned an early lesson. I'm in the Skeeter Owners Club on the Potomac River.
Uh-huh.
We launch after historic flood. This is early February. All of my lockers were frozen. Like
geez.
literally had to pour hot water to get them open.
Oh.
So we run the river. It's not a smart move to run the river. One of the senior guys in the club, who I came in second to that year, said we had our limit in 5 minutes. And I'm like, what are you even talking about, bro? And he goes, yeah, we put a 2x4 structure under a structure, and we caught all of our fish and all of our weight nearing 20 pounds. I grind it out on natural shit that I'm trying to find with my 2D and my eyeballs, right? And I come in second place, and I'm like, you're proud of that? Like, would you put a cat food can down there to like attract the crayfish too, Ed? And he got all
Well,
pissed
work.
off.
I probably would put something to attract more gobies, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but it pissed me off because I'm thinking to myself, I didn't say it was cheating because there's no rule against it in the club, but I'm like, it's like knowing the answers to the test before you take it. I didn't respect the win.
I don't
didn't
know.
respect the win.
They
And
do
I'm
it
not
all.
saying-
Every other state, you
I
can
got
do
it,
stuff.
but I was like Dante. Like I didn't think anybody would do that. Like
That's
what
weak.
you did? What you did? What? And you're
Right.
bragging about it in the team meeting, like in the club meeting. He got all mad at me, and I'm like, dude, I'm not proud of your win. I don't think that's a big deal that you caught him in the first 5 minutes and the first 5 flips. That you're excited about that win. I
That
like
just
somebody
takes
who puts
away from it.
effort in. To me, it
Mhm.
does. So
100%.
anyway,
They
That
put a
takes
lot
away
of
from
time
it.
going out
Believe me,
there, sitting in the garage, planning how they're going to do it.
Yeah, dude, true.
Okay.
True. Scheming,
Yeah,
dude. But
that
anyway,
takes
you
away.
That's
know
a whole
what went
nother-
on in the Northeast River, bro. You know what was put and sunk down there, man.
I know everything.
You know, you do. You know where the bodies are buried, bro.
I
You know where
do.
the bodies are buried, man.
I'm
Big
learning
talk.
every day.
Well, I won't divulge, but I was on the river fishing a tournament, and I see a guy in a tin boat, and he has a ton of driftwood in the boat. And I'm like, what is that dude doing? And like cinder blocks and driftwood and rope. And it was a major pro coming up planting stuff for a tournament that was canceled on that body of water because of historic, rains and high water and wind.
Wow.
Oh, he was working it, dude. He was incognito too. He wasn't on his bass boat.
Mm.
Dude, it happens all the time. Back in
I'm
the
sure
day,
it
there were
does.
legendary guys, man, that used to drag brush piles around with, this when you had to triangulate. There was no mapping or even GPS back then. But
Mhm.
they would drop the brush, they would triangulate it. And if somebody found their brush, they would put grappling hooks on rope and drag it to the next spot. You had to know where to put it. But Dante, that's what's up. And hundreds of thousands of dollars. They took everybody's money.
Wow.
You
What
gotta
about like
respect if you're
what's
putting
that
in
lake
work.
where they put those cane piles in by the hundreds?
Thousands. That's
I
all
saw that
down
video.
south, man. That's Hartwell. That's not Kiwi. Hartwell, and what's the big Murray for sure.
But the
Look back
thing
there,
is, if you put
cane
time in a
piles.
section of the lake, right, you're able to side scan and find the stuff. It's just a
Yeah, I mean,
benefit, I guess, if you don't have to put that work in to look for more stuff in a practice setting, right? Because most guys
Right.
can find the stuff eventually.
That's true, but a lot of it falls over, right? And some of
got
it
it.
stays up, and it's fresh versus not. I don't know the deal. Look, I'm not a cane pile expert, but there are guys that have done very well doing that. And think about it, right? If you put them there, and now you can run your fresh 100 cane piles, and you narrow it down to the best 10 cane piles, right? For what the herring are using, it's a huge advantage. But hey, you did the work. Is it legal? I mean, literally, can you, by your DNR rule and state law, are
Not
you
here,
allowed?
not here in New York. Legally, it's not allowed to dump
Okay.
stuff, but other states you can.
Okay, right. You got to check your regs and all that kind of stuff. But by rule, that's what I guess some of the guys were talking about on that Mercer podcast, right, Dante? They wish they would change it, that they wouldn't allow it. Interesting.
Yeah. For guys in pre-practice, yeah. That's crazy.
I mean,
though.
think about it. They're putting stuff in, and they mark it with their GPS, and then they could just go up and scope it.
Mhm.
Before 2D, you'd have to burn the spot to see if they're on it, right? So, I mean, right, but now you could just pull up and shoot out if you got a saltwater unit 200 feet and go, oh shit, that brush I just put down 3 weeks ago in pre-practice or when it was open or the year before, and now it's got craze on it. Let's say they planted a ham hock in it. dude. I mean, really? Holy
Unreal.
shit.
That's crazy.
Crazy. I mean, I guess it happens if they're talking about it. I didn't
Yeah,
know it was happening.
that's what
Pro
I didn't
level.
really. It wasn't even really on my radar. 'Cause it's like, I mean, you go out like I go out and idle like for the TIO. I idled. I took that whole week and I idled the whole week and just graphed the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, you put the work in to figure it out, right? You're finding other people's stuff, but good for you. That's what
Other
I
people.
thought I was doing, man. Before I like knew people were planting shit and catching 5 fish in 5 flips, I'm like, oh, congratulations. You knew the answers to the test before you got there. Congrats. You worked really hard for that win, Ed. He didn't like me for that one, man. Oh, he didn't like
I don't
me at all.
blame
I
you
didn't
for
care.
doing that. I mean, that's how you don't. How do you feel good about that after you go and do that? It's
I
like
don't know. That ain't me.
I don't know. Yeah, me too.
That ain't me. I'm a grinder. I'm proud of it.
Yep. You gotta put the time in.
That's right.
And it'll come full circle, but definitely doesn't
That's
can't
right.
just show up and
Heck
you
yeah.
guys both put hours and hours and hours on the water. You guys both know it's
Yeah.
doesn't
Devin
just
Willis said, sorry, officer, I lost my Christmas tree in a boating accident.
Oh. Well,
It would
listen,
be cool, Travis. Like if you got a frozen lake, imagine if you went out Ontario when the lake was frozen and planted a bunch of Christmas trees, and when the lake melted, they would just sink down.
I don't know. We
I
need
don't
dump
know, it's
trucks of
thought.
shit. We need loads of stuff, man.
Yeah, you do, right?
Yeah.
You got to hire a barge operator. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you got that riprap that you're going across? I'm going to pay you $300 to just nudge a few of that, boulders off the side for me.
Yeah,
Can
exactly.
you imagine that? Like on the right spot, on the break?
I would love
Oh
it.
my God. Like on a break, a current break, and then it's got this massive boulder pile.
Yes.
Like those giant riprap rocks, like 10 of them. Holy shit.
That would be
Oh
nice.
my God.
Mm.
Wow. Money in the
Love me some
making.
good rock. All right, listen, this was a
This was awesome
very
show.
intriguing show tonight. Dante, I love the stories, man. This was very entertaining. I know a lot of the viewers, we still got a high view count. The comments were going off, so we certainly appreciate you coming on tonight, and I'm sure this isn't the last time you'll do some damage out there.
That's right.
I appreciate you having me on, man. Thanks so much.
Yeah. This is a good time. This is a good time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was, Dante. I saw you in the gas parking lot after you beat me and Travis. And you know what impressed me about that win in the Smallmouth Crush Open more than anything was when you lost, I think you lost your units off your front of your boat, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And did you also lose your trolling motor? You weren't looking at anything.
We had no transducer, and I think the tow motor went out at some point later on in the day, but it was just straight up old fashioned dragon. And I was like,
that was pretty cool.
Still to this day, probably one of the most fun tournaments I've ever fished. Because you remember that day, it was ripping.
Sure.
It was rough.
Oh yeah.
We had the old floor tracks with the no recessed tray. So just trying to stay on the mode, like killer. We were in Joe's boat. He had a smaller boat than mine. The front deck's just like crowded. So it was, that was a great.
Whatever happened to that boat? Is that still around?
He sold it to his brother, so it's still hanging out around here now.
It's yellow, right? Yellow Skeeter.
The old banana boat. Yep. The old banana boat. Now it's getting full of perch and walleye from his brother Will stacking up. They're out in Saskatchewan right now, banging on some birds.
Yeah.
Dante, how do you say your last name?
Piraino.
Piraino. What is that? What's your ethnic heritage?
I'm Italian.
Viva Italia, man. Galasso Piraino. Let's go. Fuck yeah.
The gabagool.
Viva Italia! Io sono italiano, ma parlo un poco.
I didn't hear what you said. I was laughing.
I said I'm Italian, but I only talk a little bit of Italian.
My man. On a good team.
Dang right, dude.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right.
Dude,
sounds good. We'll let you get going.
Bro.
Welcome back anytime. We'll talk to you soon.
Man.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
See you later. Peace.
All right. Bye.
That was pretty good, man.
That was fun, dude. Are you kidding me, man? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. A lot of energy, a lot of people. We had like close to 240 people at the peak watching.
I saw that. Yeah.
That's fantastic, man. Look, see, when you get a guest on and you allow me time to promote the show, we can bring some more eyeballs in, right? You hashtag it up, right?
Yeah.
You get the right. We're going to work on this show, bro. Hey, listen, Gary Atkins would like to come on and talk about the NPFL. I think that's very interesting guest because you've got them with a completely new format. This is a guy that has won a big tournament with them. He was on your team before. Gary Atkins should be, coming up in the next week.
Okay, let's get them all on.
As the producer,
We got
of
to
the
pick
show,
a winner of the super chat giveaway.
Let's
Nice
do it.
gift pack.
Let's do it. Run it through the randomizer right now. Push the button.
Hold on.
And do it. Okay. Yep. Click that button, Travis. It's a randomizer. There it is.
Marco Ferg, GLE. There you go.
Congratulations.
For GLE. Maybe he's Italian too.
I think he might be.
Best
Congratulations, Michael.
We appreciate everyone.
The chat was hilarious too, man. I mean, there were some great comments, bro.
Michael, reach out to me if you're still on Instagrams, SmallmouthCrush, or Travis at SmallmouthCrush.com.
That's right. And Travis, you did a great job interviewing tonight. Anthony pointed out, and I will give you props too, for sure, man. Good job. I mean, the show started about a little bit rough. You throwing shade on Joe Smallmouth. I'm glad
I did throw shade on Joe Smallmouth.
We're gonna I think you need to clip that moment where I talk about it, and then you start grinning. Okay. You start grinning immediately, and I picked up on the nonverbal key. It's not.
I don't believe. Okay,
it's how you look. Yeah,
I believe Joe saw 7 pounds on his scale. I believe Joe found 7 pounds on his tournament scale.
Yeah.
If you were to show me a random picture of that fish,
yeah,
I would not say it's 7 pounds. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying it's not.
Right. There's so many pictures of bass that don't look what they weigh.
Perhaps.
That's a fact. It's very, very tough to take a picture of a fish and give it justice. Its angle, its light, its color. It's hard, dude. It's hard. Long arm, short arm, all of it in between. You just can't get it. You can't get appreciation. Yeah. I like that he put it on his deck and it showed the length. That was a good move.
Yeah.
It's a 24.
Let me look again.
24-inch fish. Look at the size of his foot and look at the size of the bass. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe he's got tiny feet. Does Joe have tiny feet? Look at his Instagram page. I showed it earlier.
Hold on. Matthew wants to go fishing with me. Matthew, I was just kind of joking. I do have to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but do check with JP. But I think we have trips. I thought the only reason why I said something is because you were asking JP first, and I got a little offended. But apparently he tips in beer or salsa.
Travis, look again. What? Look again at the fish on the deck and look at the foot in the picture. It's right. The foot is right there. Oops. Dang it. The foot is right there. That yellow thing right there. That's the guy's foot. And when you see it that way, that thing looks huge compared to the guy's foot. I mean, look at Joe's toe and then look at that bass. That's a giant.
We caught I think it was 4.6 today.
Yeah.
Fish couldn't have been more than 15 inches.
That's ridiculous.
Couldn't even be more than 15.
I mean, Travis, as you start to hear about these big bags and stuff, and then you think back to my 34-pound bag, does it just continue to amaze you that nobody's beaten it yet?
When was your 34-pound bag? Was that the fall or the spring?
That was the spring bag.
You had 34 in the spring?
Yeah, with you. Cast to catch on your shitty scale. The market's been set, bro. You got to do it solo too. No combined with
35-pound bag is out there.
I know it is. You got to catch a 10 now.
I know.
Remember that one we saw?
Which one? I've seen probably 3 bigs in my life that haunt me.
Okay, the one that we saw together.
Where was it?
It was in that bay when I was freaking out.
Oh, on that rock? I remember.
How big was that fish?
Probably 9.2 at least.
Do you think that fish was spawning?
No.
Okay. That fish doesn't live there. That fish is not coming back to that same zone.
No, that fish was chilling by a boulder. That's all.
That thing was giant, dude. That looked like a sheep's head. It was so big. I remember I was fly casting at a bonefish. I'd caught a 14.4, which could have been a certified IGFA record, but the guy wouldn't certify it. I saw a bonefish later that day in the flat that dwarfed that 14.4. He said we caught 20-pound bonefish. It was amazing to me, 6 extra pounds, how much bigger it was.
Yeah.
2 pounds on a 7 to a 9. It's got to be ridiculous. Like the differential.
Yeah.
That's like close to 50%.
Yeah.
You're going to run into a monster one day. I know it.
Some point.
You're out there. You're out there too much. You're out there. Well, you're guiding most of it. So how much, like when that's the thing. Like if you look at skip the tournament part of your fishing this year, how many days or hours, call it days, an 8-hour day. How many days of fishing have you had on the river or the lake this year? Non-tournament.
Probably 5 or 6.
That's what I'm saying. You're not fishing a lot. The most you fish is when you get that day off, like you did last week, or I come up, or somebody else comes up.
Yeah.
So your fishing time has dwindled to like a fifth of what you used to fish now.
No, but yeah, and I would like to find. I would like to find new areas.
I think you started doing that last week. You did a good job.
I did expand.
That's awesome.
I found. I'll just tell you this week's update. I found. I told you I found a special boulder.
Yep. Did you go
an obvious boulder? Obvious boulder, and obvious in a. I wouldn't say obvious spot, but it's not like I'm the only one. It's not like a special boulder, but it's new to me, right?
Okay, got it.
I found a nice little rough patch. I guess that's it this week.
A rough patch, meaning you like just gravelly, rocky.
Just a nice little chunk rock cluster that's holding. You know, I like to find a handful of those things a year.
Yeah.
And just keep adding it up. That way I have no clue where to go in the tournament.
That's awesome, dude.
But I would like to explore, you know, what Dante did with those roamers. That's pretty impressive. I mean, I've had similar situations in places like that where I always wondered, man, if you devoted 8 hours to this zone, what kind of damage could you actually do? Like that haunts me because I'm kind of like him. I want that quick.
I've seen you with that a little bit. Like when you're fishing with me, oh, dude, I've watched you put the 5s and 6s in, and I've caught a couple with you. When you're not in a hurry, you're not trying to scope, drop, catch, move on. We're not in a tournament. We're just goofing around because we're either filming, we're fishing hard, just fishing.
Yeah,
and dude, when you're on it, you're a pretty incredible angler. Like because you're not pressured. It's not like we have a deadline. We don't got to get back for dinner someplace. You're relaxed. You're in a groove. You've hit a rhythm, and dude,
yeah, I like that.
You have that in you.
Yeah, but I love to go to my.
I know you want to go drop it. Yeah. But I got that when you're tournament fishing. But when you're with me, you fish differently.
I think everyone does.
Okay, I agree. Fair enough.
Messina event with 4 hours is the most stress you're ever going to have as a tournament angler.
Dude, the 3 furs, and look, I wouldn't fish for 50 grand, but just it felt like I was because every tournament is a big deal to me. I don't care what I'm fishing for. It's the gear, it's the trophy, right? And those 3-hour tournaments are like that. Look, it was 3 hours. You had to run, fish, and so you got 3 hours to catch 5 in some formats, and then 3 bigs. It went fast, but I love the adrenaline rush there, man, because it's like balls out 70 right to they're all river tournaments for me. I love those Wednesday nighters, dude, or the whatever, Wednesday nighters for me, they were fun, adrenaline.
I would love a Wednesday nighter out or something, but I don't want Dante showing up every week,
It would take yeah, why don't guys do that? Because look, it stays light there till like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we should.
Why would
it would be fun to do something like that? I love it.
And then do like a all largemouth out of French Creek.
Or something, whatever. Yeah.
Right. Do a 3 for 1 fish big, 5 fish big. Mix it up, man. That's a blast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you could make the entry fee like, if you could get 10 guys, they could throw down 200 each. You could win $1,000 that night. That'd be fun, dude.
Yeah.
You know, put the boundary in the river, like so nobody runs to the lake. Or would you
I'd
want?
switch it up.
Okay, yeah, I think that's cool. Do it out of Cape Vincent.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, man. Smallmouth Crush Wednesday nighters, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
All
How
right.
fun would that be? Film it.
Yeah. All right.
I think.
All right. I gotta go to bed. I gotta work in the morning, bud.
Yeah, do your thing, bro. Hey, man, thanks
All right.
again. I'm
What do
glad
we
you got a
got
great
tomorrow?
guest. Ken Collins goes, no.
No. Kent's not showing up.
Kent, you're not showing up, Kent? What do you mean, Kent?
What do we got? Hourly. Oh, it's 9 miles an hour right now. How lovely. 8. Is that tomorrow? It's tomorrow, Tuesday, bud?
Yeah.
Fuck. They cranked the wind up on me.
To what?
Jesus Christ. Nothing.
All right. Get on it.
Yep. Be a
Good
great
job
day.
tonight, bud. Good
All
job.
right, guys.
It's 11:30.
As always, until next time, we'll see you on the water. Wind is coming. All right.
All right, bro. Peace. We'll talk. See you.
All right.
All right. Netflix night. Anthony's right. He knows me well, man. I'm watching. I can't believe Dante said it, man. I watched The Watcher on Netflix. I didn't like the first couple episodes, but then I tried to finish it all last night.
I don't watch any government
I know you
propaganda.
don't.
We're ending
Man,
this
it's
thing.
nothing-
Don't get me
it's not
started.
about that.
It does
The
too, man.
Watcher-
Everything is.
It was about
From
a
the
real
music
estate person. What
industry,
are you doing?
everything
Oh,
is corrupted, bro.
What's wrong with you, dude?
Nothing's real. They're all actors. Politics are paid actors.
Dude,
We
what
gotta
happened?
go. We gotta
Did
go.
you just get your? You just